Today's guest is an actor, a writer, a director. He's won an Oscar award. You know his movies like Good Will Hunting, Gone Girl, Batman. The list goes on. He has a new film, The Accountant 2. It's in theaters this Friday with John Bernthal. You may have seen the first one. I had a great time getting to know him. Today's guest is Mr. Ben Affleck. Yeah, I lost mine. I wonder if you lose vanity as you get a little bit older. Like, not you, but like, what is that?
I don't know. I see some people like, I don't know. It's hard to tell because, you see some people like doing crazy looking things and you think like, that looks crary. Why are you trying to look 18 years old? You know what I mean?
Like that guy who's on Celebrity Big Brother right now. Who's that guy? He kind of looks like Jack Sparrow.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I can imagine. You know what I mean? You kind of can... I think you can go one of two ways. Like if you see yourself all the time, and especially if like the way you make a living is by kind of in part the way you look or whatever, it feels like, people can get like obsessed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking of, Mickey Rourke, I think.
Yeah.
No judgment against him, but he tries, it's like it's definitely an active... Yeah, some people it's like an active thing, and then you're in a real kind of like conundrum with yourself because you have to get old. So then you would constantly be feeling like afraid to get older, I guess, or you'd be in like in a.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky thing, right? Like nobody wants to get older, right? Because what it means is like you're going to die, and nobody wants to really face that. And also, you just find out like, you're 50, man. When you get there, you'll see like just regular shit that used to be normal hurts. Like moving around, you're like, damn, what happened to me today? You're like, why is my back hurt? Oh, because I got up and then I sat back down. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I petted a small dog.
Creates like small injuries all the time, and so you start to get a little bit that can kind of affect you. And I think if you, I think part of it's you got to just get comfortable with the fact that and I guess I'm lucky because I don't feel like, oh shit, I better look young, and I, kind of am who I am, and I'm all right with that. And also, kind of what I like, what I'm interested in more and more is stuff that doesn't necessarily involve like how I look, like that pressure. I think like for women, for anybody who sees himself all the time, it's like I think that can turn into like a vicious cycle of trying to look at shit and fix it or look younger or something. Whereas like you don't have to look any kind of way to direct movies, you know what I mean, or have a business, So I guess I'm lucky in that way.
It's hard to know if it would seem like you seem like a guy who likes being in Hollywood or doesn't like being in Hollywood, I guess.
There's things I really like about it and things I really don't like. Yeah. Right. And I wish they didn't have to be together, but they are, right? Like it's kind of life. You got to take the good with the bad. I don't really like to do big social events or go out much. I'm kind of shy. I don't really want to be on camera. Certainly when I'm like in my regular life and I'm walking around in my, whatever, underwear and t-shirt and stuff. I don't want people looking at me. I have my family and my kids and my life. I wish that were more private. I don't know how many people really want to be sort of scrutinized in that way, but I really like making movies and I like telling those stories. And so look, the truth is I always knew that was kind of a part of it. And so, I deal with it. There's things I don't love about this business, a lot of them. It can make you kind of crazy, it can record. And there's stuff that's just no fun for me, like, events and shows and stuff like that. Some people really know how to have a good time. I wish I did. I wish I was out there like, great, we're going to hit it. And I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like as if I had that attitude, I'd probably be happier about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I'm always trapped inside of myself. There's always like a lot of like some people are like, you don't like being in a crowd. I'm like, I have a crowd inside of me right now.
There's a crowd in my head is busy enough.
I got 30 people in here and we're out of hors d'oeuvres. So I got enough fucking problems on the interior right now. So I can totally relate to that. And every time there is and then we'll get off this. I want to talk to you about directing and acting, but because I was like, this bit is so, because they always get pictures of you where you seem like you're like the dwarf that like is kind of like the backup dwarf, you know, like you're on the side, you're smoking, you're like,
what is that guy? I don't know that character, but is he pissed?
Because he's a little pissed. Yeah, he's an understudy.
He's the understudy dwarf. Okay,
and not dwarf like you're a regular heighted guy, but it's like, and I shouldn't have said dwarf. I shouldn't say anything, but it was like, I don't know. And it's like they only put this chronology out of you that makes you seem like you're kind of bummed.
True. Well, here's the thing: if the only time, like when somebody's taking a picture of me, I'm bummed because usually I'm with my kids, I'm trying to go somewhere, and then there's 4 guys who are like, hey. And I'm like, hey man, every time, can you give me some time? I'm trying to be with my kids. Do you mind? Can you know what I mean? So the look on your face is kind of like. And then they go away and not taking the picture. You go inside and you're having a good time. But it's this selective experience of like, take a picture of somebody every time they're feeling irritated. They're going to look irritated.
Especially if you're the one irritating them.
Yeah, it's like, I'll come piss you off and then take your picture and then be like, look how pissed off he is.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly what that whole system is really.
Right. But it's like useful because that's why, like, I'm sure you've seen on all this stuff like that's kind of the idea is like follow somebody around, antagonize them, and then hopefully they'll have like a nervous breakdown and go crazy on you, and then your video will be worth more money.
Yeah, it's that whole thing gets really Black Mirror-ish, man. It really gets kind of like
I can remember a long time ago, years and years ago, like I really had a lot of empathy for Britney Spears because I remember that it seemed like. It's not somebody that I knew or hung out with, but I just like everybody else. You see all this shit that comes through, but having had my own experiences myself, I knew like these are people who are following her around in a time where she may or may not have been having difficulty. I don't know because I don't know her, but I do know that the cycle of having people harangue you and yell at you and hassle you and follow you, it kind of seemed like that itself was kind of whipping up the whole thing into a tizzy. So they're
not helping.
Well, yeah, and they're kind of poking a stick at it and going, look at it. And that's where it felt kind of like, that's the first time I thought, this is kind of a weird kind of unintentional, I think, culturally, but kind of collective cruelty where what's taken out of the image that you see are the people around, waving the stick at the tiger or poking on it or whatever, and all you see is the growling animal or whatever it is. But like that, a part of that is because somebody's coming around and hitting on it or whatever to make it get active, and that's where you think, okay, well, this isn't really news. It's not even real. It's not what would be happening if this effect wasn't taking place. Yeah, and that's where I thought, okay. The sort of wise thing to do is to just sort of like maintain one's perspective and try to remove yourself a little bit. It doesn't, which is what I would like to do. I think there's this sense that if you see someone's picture all the time, they must want you to be seeing it, right? Which is not the case at all for me. I'm self-conscious. I don't really want you to be seeing that. I don't see any reason for it. As an actor, it's no good for you because I don't really want people if they watch a movie to be like, that's not him because I saw him yesterday eating lunch and I know he's who he really is. It gets in the way of you being able to create like the illusion. It's really hard work to create the illusion that this person, like the character in The Accountant 2, for example, is a real person in a real circumstance. And in order to get the audience to care about it, to laugh, to find it exciting and empathize with the character, they have to suspend disbelief. That's harder if you're constantly being shown something else. So I think it gets in the way. It makes it harder to be an actor. And it's also not good for you. People start to resent you if they see you too much, no matter whether or not you're trying to be seen. No, I don't want to do this. And nonetheless, like I remember 20 years ago going through an experience where it was like, it feels to the world like I'm trying to shove myself in their face. And nobody likes that, right? Nobody wants to be the camera hog, the guy who's trying to
get a bunch of Ben Affleck shoes or whatever.
And I'm like, man, you just leave me alone, and I would be much happier. So in a way, it also can damage your career. Although I think I don't pretend to understand the nuances and of social media and how to manage that as a celebrity, so I don't do it. Some people do it really well, and I think there is a difference now because it's like if you have 100 million followers, that's actually valuable and meaningful in a different way. I'm kind of old school, I guess, in a way of seeing
medium school. I think
I'm middle school. Yes, exactly. I am a 7th grader.
That's true. Oh, dude, yeah. I don't know if I graduated that one. Some of them they let you skip, I guess, if you're, depending on what county you're in.
Sometimes they hold you back.
Sometimes they hold you back, dude. Bro, the scariest thing was when like the dumb bully kid got held back, and you're like,
you had to stick around in your grade, and
dude,
you're like,
they were like,
man,
bro. I remember we got word.
The kid's 6'10" and in like sixth grade.
Dude, we got word that Damien had gotten held back, and people were like, oh hell no, dude. We cannot do Damien again.
Hold me back too.
We cannot do Damien again. Like Damien has to go out to pasture wherever they put these kids that leave sixth grade, and they're like, Damien's coming back.
Finish their education at sixth grade.
Yeah. Shut him down, dude. Tase him or something. Put a tire spike when he's leaving out of his driveway in the morning. But Damien cannot come back. But yeah, it is interesting, and it is kind of a sickness. I think a lot of people see that stuff as a sickness these days. But I do think it's fascinating about the suspension of disbelief, and that was something that used to be amazing about celebrities is like you never got to see them, right? And so you only got to see them, and actors, and you only got to see them on screen and in this way. And so you really envision them that way. I mean, you would almost be shocked if you saw a celebrity in person or an actor in person who didn't like Indiana Jones if he didn't have his hat and whip.
I was just going to say that. Is that when I was a kid, I kind of thought Harrison Ford was that guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Harrison Ford, I think he's probably the biggest, movie star of my childhood. And whether it was like, Indiana Jones or Star Wars, like he was the guy. And I kind of thought he was that guy. And so it's a little weird to see that guy just like, in his sneakers and his kind of raincoat walking around Brentwood. It's sort of like, of course it's disappointing or it's disillusioning or something because you have this thing in your mind that's people went to Steven Spielberg and George Lucas went to a whole, use all their talent, went to a bunch of work to make this dude look like Indiana Jones and Han Solo. And I think what I've seen now is like, I actually don't even want to see like the actors that I really like. I don't want to go on your social because I don't want to know what you had for lunch because it just makes it harder for me to get into like what you're doing.
I love that. And I think that is a real directorial way to think, I think. I mean, I can see that in your brain. I mean, I'm just a judge. I'm just a guy judging you. They just met in a room somewhere. But I never thought about that's how it is. That, yeah, you want them kind of, Hollywood has almost bitten its own tail in that way because there's this underlying like valueless current really that's kind of like a very cheap currency.
It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood sort of adjacent, which is this side of media culture that profits from and circles, and there's a symbiotic relationship between Hollywood and obviously like here I am promoting my movie and running around, and now I don't want to go on like a tabloid and do that or whatever it is, but that becomes part of that culture too. And then you have like any interview show or all these, and you're right, in a sense it is Hollywood because if you do a movie at Universal, you'll see that person's doing all NBC, Comcast owned, talk shows and appearances, right? Like it's not a coincidence because when they do their presentation in the boardroom for Comcast to their shareholders, they go, look, we make these movies, we spend a lot of money, and then we get the stars and we plug them into all of our other shows that we also own. And there's a lot of synergy, so on and so forth. The idea though is like, okay, that's a kind of a tax that you end up sort of paying on your sort of life and the one hand, and on this thing that you're trying to build, which is something that connects with people and moves them and that they want to go out to a fucking movie theater and pay good money to see. And it makes it a little bit harder than to have to kind of go around and do all that other stuff and be like, okay, well, that's not who I really am. And that's, and to try to sort of be interesting and relevant in some other way that isn't really what you kind of even wanted to do. And so you're right. It's sort of part Hollywood and also kind of Hollywood adjacent. It does eat its tail
in a way because the acting and the creation, it's like looking at the beauty of a lake, right? It's like, this is picturesque and this is like how they meant the waves to look, and there's a current here, and there's an inflow and outflow, and something landed in the water over here and left a ripple, and something else this is the B story, and there's a ripple. But then it's all this stuff under it, and it's almost starting to like kind of drain its own lake in a way.
It's a good metaphor, yeah, like the movie as the kind of lake and the underneath of what's both what goes into it and what happens behind the scenes, and also what it
same thing.
And it does kind of like, it's interesting, like, if you overtax it, it lowers the lake, and all of a sudden it doesn't look like a beautiful lake. It starts to look like the low country marsh, and it pulls down. You start to see all the little black mud around the edges and the muck, and that's I don't know how to kind of balance that. But as a director, you're right. Like I would say that's the principal way I've always kind of looked at this stuff. So it used to be that you had an actor and you had people knew less about them. And now a part of even casting for me is, what do people think of and expect this person to do and or be? And how can I have to rely on that and use that, but I also have the opportunity to kind of subvert that in a way. And so you have to be mindful, not just of the story you're telling, but what does the audience bring into the theater with them, or when they turn on television, and expect.
I think that's advanced thinking, to be honest with you. I really do.
It's just learned by lived experience mostly, find out, like I even often make mistakes, like if I sometimes have found if I sort of, I did a movie where I had like a very blonde wig that was like a medieval.
Were you Ric Flair or something?
I wish I was Ric Flair. That would be spectacular. I'd love to play. It was actually a good movie. I really liked it. It was called The Last Duel. The point, and it was great director Ridley Scott, and he had this idea for it.
Oh yeah, Ridley Scott.
And there's the thing there you see, and I liked if no one had, I think, had ever seen me or whatever. I thought that was really interesting. The problem is that people, I think what it did, people first of all created noise around. Look at this hair. Is this different? And we know it's a wig. Right. And so now you look at it and you go, but I know he doesn't look like that. And so it causes you to kind of think it's false. That's an example of kind of probably not being able to go that far away from myself and still have people go, okay, I can sit aside what I know and just watch this story and like it and believe in it.
Dude, that's fast. That's insider baseball, man. No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense that would start to affect how we see things. There's something that's happening where it's hard to get people to believe in some of these movies, and people's attention spans have changed. It's gotten interesting.
Yeah, that's a bunch of things. The fact that like even the online world, for example, you see now that like shorter and shorter and shorter like clips, or what even my son, who's constantly showing me clips of you, by the way. So he's like, you know what I mean? So it's
is he a nice kid?
He's a great kid. Yeah, he's a fabulous kid. And he now when I watch him like scroll, it's like he doesn't even get through the 6 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, and he'll like a long period of time for him is 4 or 5 seconds. And then I'm like, hey man, let's watch this show or watch this movie. And it's like, he gets bored fast. He got to really love something to sit through it. And then he binges like all the episodes. Like we just sat through and watched, Invincible, this animated show, and then it's like, let's keep going. And so it's this weird dichotomy of, on the one hand, it's like, no. Okay, then plug in and like mainline this one thing and eat it all up till it's gone. And yeah, so it has really changed. You didn't used to be able to like pause and select or even have that much to choose from.
Yeah.
Like that many choices is overwhelming to the mind. Like we weren't made, I don't believe, evolutionarily and as human beings to like, we're supposed to be living in like a village and see about 100 people in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Right. That's the vast majority of human history. That's how we did it. And I still feel like in a way that's how we're socialized. It's why, for example, if you're feel left out of a group, it's very painful because like in, thousands of years ago, if you got left out of the village, the group, whatever, and then take you to hunt, you died, right? You needed those people to live. And so
it hits something really limbic inside
now, like
of you.
and even social media, for example, you're looking at stuff and you're going, damn, why is everybody else's life so good? And seeing the life you're advertising looks so fucking cool. Yeah. And my inside life feels like shit. That also is like a basic primal thing. And I think that's what, this stuff kind of touches, but the amount of information now that comes in, because really now everybody's a celebrity, right? Everybody is a celebrity. Everybody is followed. Everybody's life is out there. And
there's newborns. There's 4 months old and 1,100 followers.
And it's really like 1,100 followers is kind of, it's not any different from celebrity. It's just a matter of degree.
But this is a 4 month. He can't even open both of his eyes at the same time.
And it's like, yeah. Exactly. And that's kind of become that as the currency of, man, that looks great, that like the currency of like fame in and of itself as a desirable thing. Like people go, man, I want to be rich and famous. Like take rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Famous is not gonna make you happy.
Yeah.
It seems like it will, because it's like, oh, people will like me and know my name and kind of know who I am, and I'll feel like I've done something. I think a lot of times what happens is if it doesn't come with a real sense of like achievement or accomplishment, it actually feels hollow and empty and like bullshit and undeserved.
Do you think you wanted to start directing because it gave you even more of a sense of accomplishment?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Is that a weird question? But does that make any sense?
No, it does make sense. I wanted to. I wanted to fail on my own terms, because I had gone through some movies where I was like, I don't like this, I don't agree with this. But you got to do how it's like playing a football team, whatever. You got to run the plays that the coach sets up. You know what I mean? They're gonna run a draw play, get the ball and turn around and run a sweep right because they're not blocking that way. You know what I mean? It's just that's not going to work, right? So that's how that whole art form is sort of structured by and large. And what I found was, I had a real strong sense of the way I wanted to do it. Yeah. And when it didn't work, when it worked, I didn't feel great, because it wasn't me that had that feel. I didn't feel like I didn't feel proud of it. And when it didn't work, I just felt pissed off. Like, fuck, I didn't want to fucking do it. God damn, I didn't want to, I said it, or I knew it. And that's a terrible feeling. So I'd rather fail on my own terms or succeed on my own terms. And that's where I kind of got into directing. And I wanted to do it even when I was younger. And I just didn't have the confidence. And at a certain point, I kind of had nothing to lose. And that was really what kind of gave me the courage to take that leap.
In the directing, you mean?
Yeah, because as an actor, I got real cold and had a couple of movies that didn't work, and then all of a sudden it can be kind of over for you. That's why it's a tough business. Fuck yeah, man! There's no seniority, there's no tenure, there's no retirement, there's no gold watch. If your show doesn't work or your movie doesn't work and nobody wants to hire you, they're just gonna hire someone else. There's 130,000 people in SAG, and there's only 30,000 people that work every year, right? And then there's an even smaller amount of those roles where you have more than 2 lines. So it's very tough, right? And so if you're not, people aren't watching, and they're not coming, or it's not interesting, see you later.
And now it's different, because I think the movie theater, it's a new attack. I think it takes novel thinking these days. I think that movies themselves, long form, I think they're going to have to find some new, unless it is great or new or so novel, they're going to have to find some new ways to either present it or edit it. I'm not sure what it is, but to me, just as a viewer, it feels like we're in this shift, because so quickly have people gotten into these quick moments. And it's not even that their attention span is short, their commitment. It's like they don't want to, it's like, I'm not committing
to
that.
Think about all the other options that you have.
Oh, totally. You're sitting there, you have a computer. You fucking.
When I was a kid and we went out, there wasn't shit else. There was 3 channels of nothing on TV, and it wasn't. And if you didn't go see the movie in the theater, you had to wait, a year for it to come out on VHS or DVD or whatever it was, or cable. And so you were kind of
rumor. You just had to wait for it to come out in a diorama. It was bad.
Exactly. The cave painting and shit. How long is it going to take you to paint this on my cave?
Or a tattoo. A guy came through with a tattue and it told a story.
The whole thing, yeah. And so you had to
it looked like a domestic dispute a lot, but you're like, hey, there's a story for everything. But dude, even this light, Danny McBride gave me this a month ago or something. This light, it's like a flashlight or something. Well, this side's just like a flashlight, right? But the other side is like a wiener light. You can put a wiener on something. It has but I'm just saying, everything has 7 things now.
Right.
Ready to win some real cash during the basketball playoffs? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6. Plus, even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. I've had a good experience with Pick 6 from DraftKings. I like to get my picks in there. I like to get Jokic and more than 13 rebounds. And I like to get Anthony Edwards out there and more than 21 points. That's how it is. You pick players and you pick their stats. New players get 50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code Theo That's code THEO for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Everyone likes a good hack. You know, like a buy one, get one at the mall, or a combo meal, or even just a nickname. You know, that's Bartholomew there, but we call him Bart. That's a hack. But what if I told you there was a wireless hack? Wireless that lets you live in the know. Well, there is, and it's called Visible. Visible is the ultimate wireless hack. It's unlimited wireless that puts you in control. You get unlimited data and hotspots. You can stay connected on the go. And it's powered by Verizon. Visible runs on Verizon's 5G network. So you get great coverage, fast speeds, seamless connection. Visible also gives you access to 4K streaming. Ready for wireless that lets you live in the know? Make the switch at Visible.com. That's VISIBLE.com. Plans starting at $25 a month. For our best features, get the new Visible Plus Pro plan for $45 a month. Terms apply. See Visible.com for plan features and network management details. But I'm just saying, like, everything has like 7 things now.
Right.
You know?
It's actually like and I think you're right.
Like
if you want to get people to go to the theaters, movies either got to be really good. Like, you can't just, used to be like, okay, there's going to 3 movies in the theater every weekend. People are going to go to one of them. Now you got to have a reason to want to go out and see it. And I'm lucky because, you know, the reason why I'm really confident about this movie, The Accountant 2, is it actually plays great. It's a really good movie. People love it. I've been, you know, but I was one where I was like, let's test this movie. Let's take it out there. And I'm like, okay, this movie belongs out there theatrically. And it's still more difficult. In the old days, this movie would have been a home run, easy. Obviously, I'm like, the movie's great. It works great. It's a big smash hit. Now you have to, like, okay, work hard to get it out there because ahead of time you screen it for people, you see what they say, and the reaction's pretty consistent, interestingly. Right. So, but now it's like, you know, I think your point about what you have to do, like the Minecraft movie or Barbie, or, you know, it almost has to become like a cultural event, like where people are going acting the scenes out. Like, there's a whole reason to go do it.
Kind of, unless
you know,
I think
or else
really
it's really good. And that's really what I believe.
You really believe in this?
This movie's, listen, you know, absolutely.
Would you
really
come out
good.
and say it was good if it wasn't?
Not like that.
Yeah.
I would have sort of talk around it or talk about, well, there's some things I like about it. But now I wouldn't even want a movie to go out theatrically. Yes. I didn't think it was going to work theatrically because you know, I think, well, you know, there's people that will watch this on streaming because I do think the bar is lower, and I think that different kinds of movies work on streaming, and, you know, great movies work on streaming too. But I would say I would choose to do that. This was one that was supposed to be, I wasn't, you know, it wasn't like we're going to go out theatrically. It was when the movie came together and worked as well as it did, you know, we thought this is definitely a theatrical movie. And I think it's really good. I'm really proud of it. I love it. John Bernthal's great. It's funny.
John
it's better
Bernthal's
than the
in
first one. Yeah, John
Yeah,
Bernthal plays my brother. He's great.
He's your brother?
Yeah. That's, to me, and we're like a
fuck?
two-hander.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Y'all are brothers?
In the movie, he's not my real brother, but yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. He's fucking amazing in the movie. And
he plays your. So wait. So who is the accountant? Or you can't tell us.
No, it's me. Right. I'm this guy's accountant who's.
Are you a CPA?
I was a CPA, but it's sort of one of these things where it's going to sound a little bit far-fetched when I tell you, but it's actually very which is. We grew up obviously together as we're brothers, and we had this father that was very tough on us, like heavy-duty military guy. This is in the first movie, right? When we were kids, you see flashbacks, and he kind of was, you know, trained us.
This movie.
You've seen the first movie, right? This is the second one. You saw the first one, me and John, came out like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the second one.
This is the sequel.
Yeah. I didn't. Sorry, man.
That's
I didn't put it together.
But I think this actually, you know, which is rare, and I definitely wouldn't say this if it weren't true, it's better than the first movie. It's funny. It's got more kind of heart. It's more broadly accessible. The action's better, and I really liked the first movie. So,
and you directed this one too?
No, I acted it. Guy named Gavin O'Connor directed this movie, who's a really good director who directed the first one.
And how do you decide who is a good director? Because you're a good director yourself.
Thank you. But I guess the way you decide that, honestly, is by watching their movies.
Okay.
You look at it and you go kind of, and if it's something that you do, you sort of watch it and you can tell. Even movies where there's instances where it's like might not be my kind of movie, or it might, my taste, but you can still say, okay, well, this is somebody who really understands. This is like a master. This is somebody who's very competent. Or it really is to my taste, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get good at. So there aren't very many great directors, and that's one of the really tricky things about making movies. This is the third time I've worked with this director, Gavin, and I really like the guy. He did Miracle. He did this movie Warrior.
Warrior is with the
Joel
boxer
and
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, Jake.
Charlamagne.
Why am I forgetting his name? The dude from Venom, Tom Hardy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Joel Edgerton and Nick Nolte.
People love him.
Yeah, and he did Miracle, which is about the Olympic hockey team. And,
against Canada, America versus Canada, I think, or something. Russia.
Right.
Yeah, Russia, the original. Oh no, Russia's like dirty Canada.
What's right, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and that's no offense to anybody's Russian, but also it. So it's not like we're keeping secrets from them.
We're advertising that.
So would you go work on it? So if you and John Bernthal, you guys are buddies, you get along well.
I love the guy. Yeah, I knew him. I liked him.
So that makes it
became
fun.
really close with him on this movie. Yeah, we just hit it off really well, and it's like, I'm sure you experienced this like in your line of work. Like some people you kind of just hit it off with, it works, it's great. Like, oh my God, you don't even know kind of how it happens. And sometimes the chemistry is just not there.
This guy, Tim Dillon. Have you ever seen Tim Dillon?
No, what about him?
Oh, you just got to watch him, dude. He's so funny. He's just one of the funniest guys he ever made. He just made me think like he's somebody that's really funny.
Right.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis is funny. But I mean, but I'm saying like for you personally, right? Like you might find that like you sitting down talking to somebody works, even if somebody's great, they might come in and you guys just don't hit it off, or you might be great together. In this case, I really felt like with John, like we got really lucky and we both kind of, it's like a two-hander. It's like a kind of odd couple sort of brother, because I'm very reserved, very straight. He's very tough and ballsy, and so like it, you know what I mean? And so we're kind of opposites, but we love each other, but we're kind of brothers. So we drive each other crazy and we're frustrated with each other. And there's kind of those things really, those kind of relationship dynamics and stories really depend on the chemistry you have. And John's a just amazing actor, but also it was great to work with him. And I love the guy. I respect him. He's a good man. He's a great father. He works hard. He's just everything. I've heard a lot
of neat things about him because he podcasts as well. You know, I think, or he has. He might have to take breaks from it if he's acting a lot. How long are you shooting something like that? And then are there phases during a movie shoot where it's like, it starts off, it's like, and you just kind of get burnt. Like, is there a way to kind of?
Yeah, because the way they set it up is like, and I don't think this is like optimal necessarily, but because of it, how you got to get everybody together and, build the sets and do all this shit and all at once, you end up working like, 14, 16-hour days.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And, there is, it's a function of just some inefficiencies in the way it works. And sometimes just what you have to do. So you're constantly working on sort of all you're thinking about morning, noon, night, and you go home, go to sleep, wake up, go back to work. So you can get burnt out on it, but you can also with Accountant 2, it was like, it started to just work better and better than I thought. And so every day I was thrilled to go to work. You know what I mean? And I found as I get older, I'm like, I want to work with people that I really like.
Yeah.
Because like so much of your life is spent at work. That becomes kind of what, like, obviously, I have my family. That's the number one thing in my life. And I just make the time for that. I have my kids. I'm divorced. I have them, half the time. So I got them half the week. Then I'm like with them. The other part of my life I'm going to spend at work. And so I've realized, like, if I want my life to be, if I want to be happy, I got to have fun, then I want to be working with people that I really like and respect and enjoy being around.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to choose that. Not everybody can. You get lucky, and so I was really lucky. I love John.
Have you ever made, because David Spade and I wrote a movie that we just shot a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was fascinating. I've just kind of learned about how to do it. Like, we've been friends for
How long did you shoot for?
4 years. We shot for 23 days, and we got
pretty quick.
It was quick. We got pushed by the fires, so everything kind of got messed up, and we not everything got messed up, but we got like sandwiched into moments where it was like, everybody's here, the winds are 40 miles an hour today. Oh, shit. We have to, we paid for it ourselves. So it was like, we have to do this.
You find out when people have your own money on something, all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to do this. Like, people have a whole different attitude. Yeah. That's something I've found.
They're like, oh, we need a Dalmatian. I'm like, we don't have a Dalmatian. We'll fucking shave that sheep. and fucking staple some
fucking tattoo some spots on this motherfucker and shoot.
And with removable glue some Oreos to it and get that bastard out there. You know, teach it to bark. We have 40 minutes. Get on YouTube and teach that thing to bark. Have you ever made a movie that you didn't put out or that wasn't put out?
Oh yeah. Early on, I made a bunch of movies that were like independent movies that they didn't have like distribution. They didn't have like a studio that said, okay, we're paying for this, and when it's finished, we're going to put a bunch of money in advertising, because you got to spend a bunch more money to advertise a movie after you make it,
right?
And or at least and that's one of the big things that's changing now. People are like, okay, how can we do this in a more intelligent way? Because all that money spent on television commercials is just wasted now. That's why I'm here. Like, this is a much more effective way to do it. You know what I mean? And
yeah, dude, it seems exciting. Well, here's the thing. I think when you tell me that it's good, I honestly think that I believe you that it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth. The movie's really good. I wouldn't be like, if you had a movie that wasn't good, you kind of do a few of the basic things, right? And because look, it's going to turn out like, it's going to be a bell curve one way or the other. The better you are, you're going to move your bell curve a little bit further down and have a better chunk of movies. But I got about like 12 movies that I really love and I'm proud of, and about 25 that are like, I like this, I didn't like that, and about 10 or 12, whatever, that are like, that's fucking terrible. I hate this. I can't watch it. And it was awful. And when I did independent movies, sometimes they just didn't get distribution. Like, no one wanted to put it out, or I went to a film festival. I haven't had movies that were so like, just something so terrible happened when the studio already was making it that it wasn't put out. But you have like, they changed their plan. You can kind of see, oh, now we're going to shift to this or that. Now you can put something on streaming, and it used to be like you were going to go out theatrical, so you kind of were like naked. You just had your, what I mean? And if it didn't work, everybody knew, because they say, look, this movie made 10 cents this weekend. And, you'd want them to take the fucking billboard down. You drive past the billboard like, the billboard's like, get to the bomb, the movie's a bomb. You know what I mean?
You're up there at night in your Batman costume, just painting over it with a big one of those big paint reachers. Dude, did you ever see Family Man? Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
I love that movie, man. That's like Family Man I liked really a lot. Dunkirk I liked. I thought was cool.
Movie. Chris Nolan's a brilliant guy. Tell me about your movie with Dave Spade. Who do you play? Like, what is it? Comedy?
Yeah, it's just bus boys. It's like he's like a guy. He's just like, we're just two kind of dumb guys or whatever. We just got the first edit through, so it's like I'm watching it right now.
Let me tell you, like, that first cut of the movie, and like when I see the first cut of my own movie, I want to kill myself.
Really?
So like, you should not go crazy seeing the first cut and not like it. I almost have never, like, now I have a company and we make a bunch of movies, and the first cut, this is one of the only movies where the first cut came in, I was like, it's great.
Really?
90% of the time you're like, okay, we got a long way to go. It's a very iterative process. They get better, and more work is done after you finish shooting to make it good.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So
I'm meeting with an editor next week.
Sit down and be like, this is what's supposed to be funny about this scene.
Right.
Like, and explain it to them what you think is funny and is good, because it may seem obvious to you and it probably doesn't to that person. Like, you can lose track. But you go, look, the reason it's funny is because you think we're going to do this. We know this about us from the first, whatever scene. And when it come in, it's that take where I like yelled at the guy. That should be a surprise. Like, you'd be surprised how often it's hard to put a cut. Go in and tell them.
Tough, because I've been spending my nights like watch, and now it
feels shitty too to put all that work into it and look at it and go, what the fuck is this? Right? Dude, it's the worst feeling in the world.
It feels fucking horrible, because it's like I'm very particular about like what I create. Like you said in the beginning, it's like I like to make things, I know what I want, It's like I know my intuition, and if I fail on my intuition, then that's exactly where I want to fail, because that's pure to me, right? Like, that's okay.
Yeah, and like that's what you want to do, great.
Right.
But it's a very tricky thing for other people to know like, that get you,
yes,
and to know, you know what I mean. Your sense of humor, your worldview is all obvious to you, right? Yeah. But it's just not to people. So a lot of times you have to spend more time than you would have thought, literally going, here's what should be funny. Right. If you can explain the joke, like, you're a super funny guy, funny comedian, you understand comedy very well, so you can sit and break it down to him and go like, you got to know this about it. What's funny is that, we didn't expect me to do this. Right. Or that's a callback to this other moment. Or the whole thing that when I did it, what I thought was funny is this take where I did that. Like, because on the set, I'm sure, if you're doing a comedy and you shot it, you had moments where you were like, that's funny, right? I think that's funny. I think that's good.
Yeah.
sometimes it's literally about going back into the dailies and saying, like, okay, go find the close-up or find this 2-shot. Or the thing where I said to David, and David looked at me like this, and whatever. That was the one where I left and thought, that works. Like, there's no mystery or magic to why they're doing it a different way. They oftentimes just need feedback. This is not like sculpting or writing a novel. It's not a single person, it's collaborative. It has to be collaborative, right? If I'm directing a movie with you in it, and it obviously is going to have your comic sensibility, like, I got to know and get what's funny to you, or I'm not the guy.
Right.
And I'm going to need help along the way. Any director is going like, so how come, what do you imagine about this? Or what do you think, you know what I mean? Like, that's why you have to explain it and sort of talk about it, because that person's got to understand all those things that made you be funny in the first place and start going, oh, people are laughing when I say, oh, these are funny. You know what I mean? And you've put it together and professionalized it. But like, you got to share that with them. Otherwise, really. And then this is also where people sometimes get into fights, of course, because people's ego gets in the way. But ego will kill you. You have to be able to hear, I don't care what you do. You have to be able to hear, like, this doesn't work. This is dog shit. Because the audience will tell you. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. And it's like, I'm not particular, but I just know what kind of has worked,
That's valuable because not everybody does. So what you have, right, is that awareness. You don't think about it. You feel it, right? You're like, that feels funny. Or when you see something, you're like, that feels wrong. Like, makes you uncomfortable, right? You see.
Yeah.
So that is a thing that's unique to you, right? So you need to, like, give them access to that and get it. And when and if somebody's going to, like, take it personal, it's not personal. Like, it's your, and what David thought was funny, like, okay, like, you have to be connected in that way, and you have to understand that it's not about, like, okay, fuck you guys, now I'm gonna go make my vision of this thing. No, that's a disaster.
No. I just think, like, this is why this was written this way, and this is why it's funny, and so this is the first time that we're, like, more hands-on with it.
Well, then you should definitely be hands-on, because, by the way, no one's gonna do it for you.
Right. Oh, I agree with that too.
On its own, man, it's gonna get better if you get in and work on it. And by the way, you're gonna see it again, and you're gonna have to go, okay, closer. Now let's try this. Let's try that. And then again, the way movies get better really is iterative. It's like coats of paint. You know what I mean? You got to keep on going. It's like a good paint job on a car. It's like 12 coats of paint. That's why it looks good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do movies take a long time to edit sometimes?
Yeah, 26 weeks is the post-production schedule for most movies. Right, that includes music.
That's half
and
of
sound
1 year.
mixing. Yeah. And it's longer than the production. You're trying to grab everything you can during production. It's more expensive every day to shoot. Editing is, you rent the editing room, the facilities.
We needed an owl one day. We had an owl, right? This bitch, it was $1,100 an hour.
For an owl?
Yeah, it was like a semi-endangered. I don't want to say endangered or whatever, but it was like
Do they charge more if it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can get a chicken, they're not endangered. You can kill that shit, just cut its head off. That's $10 like, for the owl.
You can get a tall chicken.
No one's going to know the difference. You can take the chicken, break its neck, and it's turned around.
You can get a tall, curious chicken. We'll give you that.
And so I think maybe that's just like one of those things where it's like, what's the rate for owls? You just get to make it up if you sell owls.
It's just it's like, God, you get into there and there's just all this animal entrapment. What else was I thinking about? Would you let your children, I want to talk to you a little bit more about directing. So, because Argo you directed. Mm-hmm. Right? And did you care about the Middle East? How much were you like a Middle East guy? I knew you. I've read some.
Not really. I did study the Middle East in school, and so I understood about it. I wouldn't make a movie that I didn't. It'd be like making a movie with you and not getting your humor, right? Like, it would just be crazy. Like, as the director, you got to care more, be more interested in that movie than everybody else. Everyone else is going to be bored of it, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to love it the whole time through. So the big key is, like, this is going to be interesting to me. There was a lot of things that were interesting to me about that movie. One was the real story, the CIA agent who had done it, the people that I met and talked to at the CIA, the actual nature of, like, intelligence work versus, what you have seen with like super spy shit that's not really realistic. And this story was really interesting to me. And also I thought it was like the fact that they had this like bizarre connection to Hollywood and this Hollywood makeup artist, and that we were trying to bridge those two worlds was really interesting to me. But it was a scary, challenging movie because the director's main job is tone. Right, like that's the main. That's what the director is going to really create is like, what's the tone of this? Like, what's the vibe? Is this serious? What are we interested in? Like, what do we consider funny? What do we, all those things that go into all the choices we make in life, from the car you get, the clothes you buy, all that. What is your taste? And not everybody's going to like it, right? Some people, it's just not going to be their taste. You got to at least make it as good as you can to your own taste, to, like you said, your own instincts.
Yeah, you got to find that tone that matches, because people want to believe they're going to expect a certain tone from you as well. I think
Yeah, and when that tone doesn't work, you're like, this is kind of crass, this cheese is fucking, you know what I mean, corny. It's like it seems silly or whatever, and it's like because you're asking someone to take something seriously that they can't take seriously, or think is funny that they don't think is funny, and that's where it's a tricky kind of nebulous job, but that's the most interesting to me, important thing about it, and that's you know.
Would you let your children act, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't let them act professionally while they were children, no. But I would let, you know, if they want to do plays and shit and make their own kind of stuff with their friends, that's fine with me. I don't think it would be, I don't know judgment against people that do it. I've done playing movies with, you know, child actors and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fine. From my experience, acting as a kid, and what I want for my children is not that. But also you got to understand that then they, you know, I got a 19-year-old, I got one 16, I got one 13.
Oh, wow.
They can make their own choices.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true, right? As a dad, you just like, is that got to be tough when you're a dad. Like, you kind of have already lived some life, so you were like, and not even about acting, it's about anything. And then your kid is kind of like making it, like, is that, and you don't want to like probably push them too much, or like, because then you're pressure some dude. That's got to be a real, like, walking a police line or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole job of life. It's like, for me, before I had kids, you know, I didn't really realize what my life was about, and then this becomes the central challenge of your life. And if you have everybody has complications and tricky shit in their life, and that's part of being a parent, is managing that with what kind of life am I bringing my kids into, making a good life for my children. How do we, you know, and that's part of that. Is my kids are growing up out here in LA. I didn't grow up in LA. I never met a famous person or an actor or anything. That shit just seemed like a million miles away to me, and totally
for sure. If you're in the rest of the world, it feels so far away. And then you forget after you're here for a while how far away it seems to other people. Like, if you meet, you know, like just anybody who was in, and it just like, that's like, it was a.
Dude, I remember I was 12 years old in Boston, and I saw Christopher Lloyd, who played the dude on Back to the Future, you know? And I saw him walking down the street. I think he was doing a play. Yeah, exactly. I followed the guy for like 6 blocks. Like, now I'd be like, there's this fucking 12-year-old kid following me, right? You know what I mean? Like, I stalked him. Like, I couldn't believe it that it was the guy from Back to the Future. I lost my mind.
Yeah.
And it was the only, you know, celebrity, famous, whatever person I'd ever seen or know. And so my kids are now, they're seeing different stuff. Some of it's useful for them because it disabuses them of some illusions that I think are worth being disabused of. And also, but I'm also like, I don't, look, they're going to, their kids are going to kind of be and do who they are, what they want to do, which your job is to let them know that they're loved, that keep them safe, you know, provide them opportunities, and also not, you know, you got to resist the temptation to try to get everything out of the way for them, because you're not going to learn anything or develop any grit or resilience if shit's just easy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never even thought about that. It's like you're watching them walk, and there's something kind of in their path, and if you take it away completely, then they're not going to learn how to deal with an obstacle. Yeah. But if you leave it there, then you're going to have to watch them go through an obstacle. That's got to be crazy.
And it's hard watching your kids, like, even trying to climb over something. Your instinct is to pick them up, take them over, but you have to, like, yes, you don't want them to put their finger in a socket, you know what I mean, or off a cliff, but that doesn't mean life has to be hard.
Yeah.
It has to be difficult in some ways. It doesn't have to be, shouldn't be traumatic, shouldn't be, you know, awful or painful, but things have to be hard for you to learn to do hard things.
Yeah.
And this world, like it or not, is going to demand that you do hard shit. If you want to have anything, you know, if you want to be able to provide for your own family, have your own dreams, have, you know, the things that you want to have, because if you don't do it, the guy next to you is going to do it better, or, you know, or the woman over here is going to do it better, and you're going to lose out.
Yeah.
And also, you know, I don't want my kids to have that first big, tough experience in life and like kind of fall apart. You know, you got it. Like, some of the best lessons I ever learned in life were from failure. In fact, for sure, I didn't learn much from success. I learned a lot from failure. You know what I mean? But the most important thing you learn is that you can survive it. You can be okay.
Yeah.
It can knock you the fuck down. And you know, it's like getting, like, when I was a kid, where I grew up, I mean, we used to get in fights all the time.
Oh,
fight
yeah,
all the time.
dude. People
and you found
used
out
to
that
beat the shit out of me.
You get punched in the face. You get your ass kicked. And that's not, and you'd be like, yeah, he kicked your ass. And you go like, and you get up and you come to school the next day, and you know what I mean? It's kind of like
a tough day, dude. That first day was so tough.
Yeah,
they're like, damn, Randy kicked
I know.
your ass.
It's worse that you have to hear about it than like just getting hit 5 times. It's like, you kind of get your bell rung, you know what I mean? But it's that's kind of going back to that thing about like embarrassment. Like kids will suffer more from being humiliated than physically hurt. For example, like that's the shit that really is painful. But no, I don't wish, to be clear, that on my kid. Like, you don't need to be fighting and shit all the time.
No.
But it's, it is valuable to know that you can fail or have something difficult happen, really painful, or get your heart broken. Have some girl be like, I don't like, you know what I mean, embarrass you, whatever. You're going to be okay. These things are not going to kill you. In fact, they actually do make you stronger if you kind of go like, okay, that was tough. If I didn't have some of the resilience that I picked up by my early life trying to, see, I would have just kind of given up or collapsed or had movies are bad. People say bad shit. I'd be like, and I'd fall down and never get up again.
Yeah, you'd have no experience. And you also, it sharpens your intuition. You start to, it all learns. It is, if you can see yourself as a tool. Sometimes it's definitely harder when you're younger because some of those feelings are new and it hurts so much,
Here's the thing, getting better at anything really never feels good. Like if you're building resilience, it's not a time that you're liking. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't feel good. Like, so that's when, okay, I don't like this. This feels like shit, but because it's hard, because I can't lift these weights anymore, because I can't, these other, I'm exhausted and the other kids are still, running sprints or whatever, but like those are the moments, for what it's worth, where you're getting better.
What's something that you admire about each of your children, just so one day they can look back and is that uncomfortable?
God. I mean, the thing that I care most about, and it's true of all 3 of my kids, is that all of them have like an innate like goodness of character, like a kindness. They're not trying to go out and hurt other people. They have empathy. Like they care about and respect other people. Doesn't mean, that obviously they don't make mistakes or they're perfect or whatever, but basic thing about them is really, really important. I think it's definitely also credit to their mom, who's amazing and who's spectacular and is great. Like, we're divorced, but we I think do pretty good together, raising the kids, going back and forth and all that stuff. And they're all, look, I think, like any parent, you're going to be like, my kid's so cool. And
I love like something you admire, like individually about them that's maybe unique. And
I think my oldest kid, not trying to, no, not at all. Listen, okay. I think truly, there's so much that I just don't want to come off. And I know my kids will be like, Dad, don't fucking go on there and talk about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so my son especially is like, dude, he's right now watching this like, oh, no. But here's the truth. My oldest one has got a beautiful like commitment and sense of like wanting to make the world truly a better place. And she'll put her money where her mouth is. Like, she doesn't want to do something she's not asking other people to do. She makes personal sacrifice. She has that kind of integrity. My middle child is really is this incredible, like, feels things deeply, like artist, kind of is brilliant and so funny. And my son has got like this incredible like joy of life and magnetism and sweetness and goodness to him. And like, that's the stuff where it's like, whether you can like dunk a basketball or write a great paper, like, great. And I'm not, but like that's the shit that to me is more important, that like kind of internal character stuff.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's nice, man. Yeah, it's nice to hear dads talk about their kids, I think sometimes you just don't hear it enough sometimes,
I agree. I think it's so important. Like,
it's
the most important thing in the world.
There's not as many male leaders, there's not as many male teachers as there were. There's not as many, like there's a space where we're missing a gap of mentorship from male to male, because a lot of people, some people were pedophiles, whatever, but outside of those people, it's like there's not as many.
Let's rule those fuckers out.
Yeah, those guys are out. Well, also, anybody paparazzi who's driving around taking pictures of kids, anybody else would be arrested for taking a photo of a kid in public.
Yeah. But and I think absolutely boys need important male leaders, and so do girls. Like, you need to see that there's good men. You need to understand that good men are accountable. They tell the truth. They can say they're sorry when they make a mistake. They're strong. You can rely on them. They're funny, like that. They can show you strength and love and all this stuff that is good and beautiful, and the people you want to be drawn to in your future life about masculinity. You want to know and see that modeled. And if you don't, first of all, there are children who are expecting, because we're as children expecting to have that.
It's
and if you
important.
don't, it fucks you up. And if you don't see what that looks like, you don't know kind of what to look for.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, dude. Did you have a fun, like, do you have a memory of your dad that was like fun for you? I'm trying to think of one. My dad was like, my dad was really old when I was born. And so my dad was 70 when I was born, right? He was born in 1910.
Dad was a serious guy.
Yeah, I wish he had some money, which was crazy. Because usually if a woman's hooking up with an older guy, he's got some money.
What did your dad have going for him?
It was not money.
Was it
dude.
money? He must have been charming.
He didn't have a bank. He was very charming. My dad was very, very charming. But he would like take me to the he would like go sometimes have a beer by like this bar at the railroad tracks, and he would like let me walk on the bar. He'd like, and they had like these little bowl of chocolates or whatever. And if the bartender, I remember if I danced good, she would like give me some of the chocolates or whatever. And he'd be like, go wiggle for chocolates or whatever. And I remember, so I just remember, I think.
You like when my dad pimped me out. That was a good time.
Yeah. Well, he was just pimping me for confections, or sugars, It was kind of an outtake from that movie Chocolat, if you've ever seen that. But yeah, he would be like, go wiggle for chocolates. And I just remember that was one thing that I remember. Anyway, sorry, I made that about me.
It was nice to take that walk down memory lane.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, there's things I remember about it, like the bowls of peanuts and just like being at a bar like at like 5 p.m. because my dad was older. He would go to rest. He would rest pretty early. But
I remember, that's funny because I was going to say, I don't have that kind of memories of my dad really. But the truth is, like, after he got out of the house, as a kid, he worked at bars. And so that's where I go see him, up at the bars. And he was like a bookie and, taking bets on the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. And he was, but that's what he did. He was bartender. And then for that period of life when I was kind of 8, 9, 10, 11,
Did they have
12,
a
whatever.
jukebox in there or anything?
They had a jukebox, and then he'd be like, "Oh, go get the cigarette machine." And I went into the bar, and it was cool to visit him in there.
Remember the cigarette machine? They had that pull
yeah,
out
you could
thing?
pull on them.
Yeah.
And by those days when they'd be like, tell you the kid, like, go to the store and get me some cigarettes. You walk in, 8 years old, buy cigarettes. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also me and my brother would go up to the bar.
Yeah.
And there was some. I do have some kind of fond memories of that. I wish I had more of them, which is one of the reasons why. It's important for me in my life to make sure I don't that I create those for my own children.
Yeah, I think that's something that we probably learn, as we go along. I want to tell you about True Classic. God, you want to feel good? You want to feel something good on your body and look good to people? True Classic, the official basics wear partner of the UFC, has one mission: to make sure guys look good and feel even better. They've nailed fit, feel, and price across your entire wardrobe. Not just tees, but hoodies, jeans, gym gear, everything you need to level up your everyday style. I've been wearing True Classics and I enjoy them. From the first piece I put on, I said, okay, daddy's home. I knew it was different. Snug where you want it, relaxed where you need it. No weird bunching, no awkward tight spots. Forget overpriced designer nonsense. Skip the cheap throwaways. True Classic delivers premium essentials built for real life. Grab yours at Target or Costco or head to trueclassic.com/THEO to get hooked up today. That's trueclassic.com/Theo. I am excited actually to get a hold of Nutrafol. That's something I've got coming in the mail to me, because I've still got enough hair to need a cut, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep it healthy. Nutrafol Men, that's who I ordered from. You may have heard of Nutrafol's hair growth supplements and wondered, do they actually work? Well, it's a fair question. Many hair supplements overpromise and underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different. As the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, it's trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's clinically tested to deliver real results in just 3 to 6 months. Nutrafol Men is clinically proven to improve hair growth and quality. Plus, men also reported no impact to sexual performance. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code Theo. Find out why Nutrafol is the leading hair growth supplement brand on the market at Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code Theo. That's Nutrafol.com/men, promo code Theo. What else is something I want to ask you about? Was it weird? Were you famous before your brother was famous? Is that a weird question?
Not at all. I guess, yeah, a little bit, like in the sense that he was in Good Will Hunting with me and Matt, and he was fucking brilliant in it. And then, but like anybody, like, and Matt's like, who's like, my best friend as a kid and stuff, like Matt Damon, you had like, and he got more famous off Good Will Hunting, and then my brother, so you kind of, and people, if you really like try to map it out, like those sort of how famous are, which is kind of a weird and a hard thing to tell.
I agree.
It kind of moves around, but my brother was always a working actor, and then he became, he really established himself, of course, won the Oscar for acting, and kind of established himself as a great actor, and
what's the one
had a more steady kind of
in
arc.
Pittsburgh, remember, with Michelle?
You talking about Manchester by the Sea. Yeah, that's what he won the Oscar for. He's amazing in that movie. Yeah.
God, it was so good. Is it he's
a great actor, my brother.
Is it are you guys pretty close?
We are, we're close. He's got great kids. I love his kids, and he's a great guy, and
I guess you get through phases in life too, where you're kind of like you're kind of doing the same thing, or you're just in different spaces.
Well, that's what happens when you kind of really like get a little older, and then we were like, it was up to 30 or whatever. I was just like hanging out with guys all the time. You know what I mean? We were going out, we're doing this or whatever, and that was kind of life, most of it. And so you see all your friends all the time. And my brother was one of the, we'd all hang out, and then you have kids, you have family, and then it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna have Friday at 5 or whatever from 7 and then you kind of you lose a little bit of that bigger network of like who are the, like, I know who 10 of these guys are, who are the other 6, that starts to kind of go away, and you kind of have to be more selective. But my brother is a brilliant, funny, amazing guy, and his kids it's a joy to see his kids grow up and be,
being an uncle's fun.
Oh, it's the best. Because then you can kind of just like let them do shit. You don't have to be really the dad.
I'll tell you this. So there was, I live in Nashville, so I moved there about 4 years ago. And so the other night there's like tornadoes or something. And I didn't know, and I live in it's a nice neighborhood, but it's nothing crazy. It's not like rich enough where you're away from tornadoes,
You better be how rich you have to be to get away from tornadoes?
I don't know. I'm still in the wind district, So there's a freaking tornado warning. There's sirens going off over town. I didn't even know we had sirens. So I'm texting my nephew. Thank God I called him twice. And then finally I texted him. I was like, dude, I was like, bro, tornado warning. What do I do? And he's in middle school or whatever. And thank God he's like, get under your desk. That's what he fucking says at 4 a.m. And I was like, dude, I don't have a fucking desk. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, don't curse at me over text. And I'm like, this fucking kid does not know how to support a family member. It's just like
that's what that's hilarious.
Anyway, I don't even know what I told you that story about. What were we talking about? Weather?
I don't know.
But family members.
Oh, yeah.
And what it's like to be an uncle. Yeah. I get to see my nieces, and they're coming for Easter tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. But being an uncle is so much fun.
How many nieces and nephews you got?
I got 5 total. One of them just went to prom, so I got to be there when she took pictures. I was in Baton Rouge for that.
Oh, that's great.
It's fun, and you kind of get to be like a little bit of the confidant, like you're kind of like on the edge of dad.
Because they'll tell you stuff that's kind of like, you can't talk to your parents about like whatever, something, but you can kind of let, the uncle kind of know, and so you can be kind of on the side a little bit, a little cooler, even if you're really not that much cool, and they're like, fucking don't try to play it off like that. But you kind of get away with it a little bit, and, you got to you can't push it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's
and you got to know when to snitch too on them too, and tell the dad what's going on.
Exactly.
Did you, let me think about a movie thing. Oh, did you get to keep your Batman outfit?
I did. Yeah, I did. In fact, that's at our office, and it's one of those things people like. It's like it's one of those things that sort of like, I don't know, people like to see it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Planet Hollywood a little bit. So I'm always like, oh, we got this rubber bat suit here. It's just, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like, look, I get it. That's a kind of a cool movie souvenir. Sometimes I feel like if you put a grapefruit on like TV every week, you know what I mean? And then you just put it to the mall, people will go by and be like, oh, there's that grapefruit from TV. You know what I mean? So it's sometimes hard to tell whether something's interesting because it's interesting or because, but I can see how that is kind of interesting. The most interesting thing about it when people see it is like, damn, how do you wear this? And it's true. It is like, of all those type of roles and stuff, like the superhero thing, the outfits make it a lot harder to do your job because you're kind of constrained and they're real hot. It's like, you know, when like wrestlers, like when I was a kid, used to run around with like trash bags to lose weight because you just dump all the water. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of what those outfits do.
Oh, yeah. You'd see like some guy just with his, you see some guy in your neighborhood who's on the wrestling team or whatever. I didn't know they
wrestlers, exactly.
had a wrestling team and then he's running down the street like a California
trying
raisin.
To lose, exactly. 15 pounds in 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
He's just spitting on his family members and he's just cursing because they say cursing helps you burn calories or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But you never like put it back on for anything fun or to surprise family members?
I did it for my kid's birthday when he was my son's birthday, and he was a little young, but it was fun. I got the pictures now. Now he's like, I guess that was cool that you did that. At the time, I didn't know what the fuck you were doing, and I'm like, but it was cool though. Do I get credit for it now? He's like, I guess. He barely, but I had fun, and that was the whole reason I did it. Like, I'm gonna be Batman. My son, like, how cool is it? Your dad's Batman. My son was like, 3 and shit, and so he was like scared of the movie. But since then it's like it's become kind of, in retrospect, I think kind of cool. It's hard to tell what your kids think is cool because most of the time they're kind of like,
Yeah, they don't really tell you kind of because it's almost like you're like, I don't know. I just watched my brother have nephews. Like, I want to get a wife and children. I don't have a wife yet, but
your parents are never going to be like, because like part of the thing is like, you can't like, you need to separate from your parents, right? You need to like move away, get out of the house, that whole thing, like move on, become your own man and all that stuff. And if you're too wrapped up in like your folks and you can, it gets in the way of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You got to start to slowly separate in those ways that kids do.
So there's part of it where they're like, and it comes off like, where I'm like, hey, you guys want to play some games? Like, close the door. Yeah. Get out of my room. Close the room. I'm like, just leave. You know what I mean?
Oh, and then there's that moment. It's the first time you kind of close the door, and there's that moment where the dad's just by the door and he's kind of sad, like, but he's in the hall. But then he goes in his room. He takes 3 steps and he's like, oh, good, I got some free time.
Actually,
but there is that moment.
It is, absolutely. And they come back around. You know what I mean?
Do you think I auditioned for a Project Greenlight movie that you guys had years ago?
Really?
Yeah, it was one where there was like a guy in a wheelchair and there were like dangerous people were coming in, like you were trapped in a bar or something.
Feast, maybe the horror movie. Yeah.
I just remembered that. That's
Your
crazy.
audition for it? Really?
Yeah. Oh, I was not any good.
Wow.
I'm not a good actor. I would not. I think it's a bad idea to do that. I just. But anyway, I just remember that it popped in my head. Do you still have Project Greenlight?
It's no, it's not. I mean, it's not currently. We did it with the company. We haven't, but we are not doing it now. And we took it. We had it on for a while back then, and then brought it back. And it's interesting. I really liked it, and I thought it was interesting that because that's what I do, and I know that's tricky. Like, it's hard. You get all this drama that comes up on a movie, but when we had like $1 million to make the movie, and everybody like $1 million, like that's like nothing. And now it's almost setting people up. It would kind of just be like, then you just be doing a show about people getting in arguments and smashing things and having a breakdown because you can't really even do it for $1 million.
Yeah,
like
times have changed.
Unions and wages and all that stuff. Like but I really liked that idea of that show and what we were able, because to me it was about like also creating opportunities for people that are outside Hollywood, who could come in and be like, look, I know what I'm doing. I want to do something. And then you got to like, okay, well, let's see what you can do.
What, do you think Tom Brady's good as an announcer?
Yeah, I think Tom's good as an announcer. I think he's, look.
Me too, dude.
I think he's really smart, obviously, about football. I think that like it's a people kind of, when you're the greatest quarterback who ever lived, they think, well, okay, now he's going to come in and change broadcasting for good. And like just being a normal human being seems kind of like, I mean, who do you want to listen to analyze something? Like if I want to like somebody tell me about like a concert, like I want to hear from, some great musician, if you figure, well, nobody's going to have better or wiser analysis than Tom. It's maybe not about like telling jokes or whatever. That's something different.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think so.
But he's a surgeon. He seems like a surgeon when he's talking about it, and the way he breaks down certain moments and how long it takes to do certain things. He's like, well, they got about this many yards. They're gonna have to move about this many yards a second. Like he's definitely. You start to see who he really is.
Like how much analysis went into that. I still think one of his one of the things that really separate him, because everybody knows about how he was like drafted late and all this stuff, and his like combine numbers weren't all that stuff. People weren't just like, this guy's gonna be amazing. I feel like one of the things that he has that people don't really talk about is and this is so fucking important, is I feel like he has this thing where he doesn't get tight. He just doesn't get nervous. I think that there is a huge advantage. Imagine you're in the Super Bowl. And it's 4th and 8 and you got, 7 seconds or whatever. And you win. You're good. Everyone else's heart rate is banging their head. Adrenaline's
I think it's what makes actors good too. Good actors at certain moments.
Getting relaxed, the ability to relax in tense situations where other people get tense, because tension and stress, it locks you up. You panic. It's everything. It's all bad.
Oh,
right?
It's horrible. That's when, dude, it's definitely, there's moments. The first time I'd ever audition, I was like, open the windows. And there's not a lot of windows in here. And they're they're already open. I remember I kept blacking out. And then I had to do some scene that I didn't even care about. What are we doing here? Why are we doing that? I'm sorry. That was not a plan. Oh yeah, dude, I want to tell you about, do you ever see that Dunkin' Donuts commercial? Because I know you did a commercial with them.
Yeah.
You ever see the one where they shut down that one and is it Shoboik?
What is it? Play it.
Shamokin.
Dunkin's closed by 5.
Favorite, dude.
A coffee shop in Shamokin is closed following an arson over the weekend. Police say a teenager is responsible for all that damage. News Watch 16's Nikki Kreiz joins us live from the Central Pennsylvania newsroom with more tonight. Nikki?
Julie, a lot of people in Shamokin are upset that Dunkin' Donuts is closed because they didn't have anywhere else to go for coffee and donuts. Today we also learned new information about the teenage girl police charged with setting the place on fire. Setting the fire is currently at a juvenile detention center. Many people who live in Shamokin are upset that Dunkin' Donuts is closed.
Now I have to rely on myself to go to maybe a Turkey Hill or something where I don't like their donuts. I rather the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm kind of dealing with it, but I really miss Dunkin' Donuts.
I go there every day. I get a chicken bacon croissant, or I get some coffee, Powerade if I'm dehydrated. I sit there all the time. If I have any legal work that I need to do, I go there. I meet with my attorneys there.
I'm gonna miss that place when it don't open up. Yeah, a lot of my friends go in there, get the cold coffee, iced coffee, I guess it's called.
People miss their local hangout and hope Dunkin' Donuts
anyway, that's just it. That
soon.
when that one closed down, man, it was just a real, people kind of went bananas on the internet.
Because it turns out, guys, that's the legal clinic got shut down too.
That's
my man was
sit there with my
legal work. My probation officer meets me in there. I usually deal out of that place. All right,
yeah. You don't know when a Dunkin' Donuts closes down. You don't realize how many lives intersect in that one place.
The whole community is paralyzed. Yeah.
What's something else that you want to direct, man? Where is there something? What about you directing Timothy Chalamet? That'd be so dope.
Oh, he's a terrific actor, man. He's great. And I think, and that's really what you kind of no matter what you do, a big part of it is, 90% of it is they say is picking the right actors. Because there's really nothing you can do. You're kind of okay, now go ahead and you can, get about 10% calibration, but the right people for the right role is so much a part of what goes into directing. It's what I was talking about, kind of understanding what people sort of think about or assumptions they have about actors that they are going to watch. There's a lot of actors that I would love to work with that I haven't worked with, and I'm lucky to have worked with some great ones so far. And I have a movie that I've just finished shooting called Animals. That's
it's your own movie?
Be out on Netflix that I directed.
Let's go. Congrats, dude.
Yeah, and I may even direct another movie next year, which is actually pretty quick, but it's not all set up yet. But it's something that I really love doing, and I will do it especially as I got one kid that's in college now, and the other two, by the time my son who's 13 goes to college, then I plan on kind of just directing all the time. But like I said, it takes so much focus and energy that one of the regrets I have even about movies that I really like and I'm proud of is what periods of time that I miss with my kids because that just doesn't come back. You know,
so you almost have to plan ahead. Like, okay, maybe they're going to be on a semester abroad, or this is going to be
like
going
this
on.
I'm like I do them in LA. You know what I mean? So I'm not traveling. So I can be home for dinner and come. You know, and just make that the priority. But it's a part of why I slow down a bunch from directing, because it just, in order to do it in the way that I understood that it required, like it just requires almost
intense.
total commitment and concentration.
Yeah, man, because we got to keep telling good stories because it's important. That's how people learn things, and that's how you remember things, and they become part of, like, you know, history. They really kind of tell history a lot of times. Yeah, it's definitely interesting about. Oh, you said something about. Oh, yeah, the shooting in Hollywood has become so tough, huh? But it's supposed to be getting easier.
Well, you know, it's tricky because what happened. One of the things that's happened is that, like, first of all, movies just used to be made here. Like, you know, country music was made in Nashville,
everywhere.
right? Like that's how it was. And then you had other states and countries that started kind of offering incentives because they felt like, you know, if we bring this business here and like it stimulates all our other businesses, because there's this huge kind of trickle down effect of from the restaurants to dry cleaners to, you know, drivers to blah, 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 all this money into the economy. And, you know, LA or California didn't really, I think, whatever, I'm not sure they didn't respond or try to compete. They have a small incentive now, and they've actually broadened it some, and I think they're aware of it, but it's tricky. Whereas other states, and they're kind of controversial. Some states have felt like they worked out for them and they're happy. Georgia's got a huge incentive program. They get a lot of Marvel movies shoot down there. I got a place in Georgia, and I filmed in Georgia. It's in fact, The Count we filmed in Georgia, and that's why, right? They start offering these incentives. Obviously, been successful for Georgia.
It's like California has ego about it in some weird way. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah, I don't really know enough about the politics of it to know. It seems to me like, and I think it's like, well, we've always had it here. We don't have to give the incentives. Like that's what's pulling people away.
But it's like at a certain point you have to.
But now everybody's moved and moving away and moving around. And if you can't make a movie without the crew is what's going to make or break your movie.
Now you have 3,000 people flying to like Tibet or whatever to shoot for, you know.
Like the UK, they do these big readers. So it's like,
Louisiana did it for
Harry
a long
Potter
time.
movies and all the DC movies, all these. This stuff goes and shoots like out of the country. Look, I obviously selfishly, like this is where my kids are. So this is where I want to be. But also the best technicians, I believe, in the world by and large are here, and they're really artists too. And
they're ready to work too. A lot of them, they've
been
waiting.
Work. And look, you have these fires and all this stuff. It's like, but look, it's hard all over, and I get it. I don't begrudge anybody anything. I would like to preserve, like, look, it's a big business for this country, right? Like show business. This is something that we make that everybody buys all over the world.
Oh, for
we
sure.
buy a lot of shit from other countries, right? Like this is something that people want to buy from us.
Well, I'm amazed that I was talking about this with somebody, and it may have been, I can't remember. My brain's off on the weekend, but we're talking about how California hasn't really done a great job of like kind of museuming some of a lot of great parts about that were in movies, and like, you know, Sidney Poitier, this is where he lived for 20 years, or, you know, this is the Bad News Bears Park where they play, like
the Brady Bunch house.
Right. There's some of it, and it's like bits and pieces on the internet, but it doesn't seem as preserved. Like when you get here, you almost think it would seem like more of a museum in itself.
Because at the time, I think people just didn't think about it, or somebody's house they rented or whatever it was. But yeah, they haven't really. I mean, you know, you can do some of these tours and stuff, but it's kind of like, I think California, I still feel like, even though I'm a resident now, like that, I'm from somewhere else, you know, from Boston.
Dude.
And
we'll
so
say, for sure, Massachusetts.
Like California is like, is felt, I think, in a way like, hey, people come here. Right. You know what I mean? So we don't need to bring people here, but like times are changing. Movie business, like you say, is changing. It's theatrical business is changing. It's all, you know, the number you're looking at, one thing that people watch more than anything else, which is
fires at Dunkin' Donuts,
YouTube.
For
exactly.
Sure. But Accountant 2 is in.
Accountant 2 is out in theaters on Friday, and
this Friday.
Yes, see it. Go out and see it. And it's great. Movie's really, really good.
Do I take a date? Do I take my cousin? Who do I take?
Take your whole family, everybody you know. Actually, the truth is a movie that anybody can see. Like, my son, kids can see. Real accountants better like it. That's the core. If accountants don't like it, we're still fucked. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Your balance sheet
you're going to
is
call
done.
The movie The Waiter, and waiters don't go. You think anyone else is coming? But it's a movie that I think honestly like works for. You know, it's It's smart, and it's not like, oh, well, only young people like this or only old people like this. It's got everything. It's hard to make a movie that I think strikes this chord and kind of works for a broad audience, and it is better seeing it in the theater. So, and it's one that I'll be willing to leverage my kind of personal word and credibility on. Amen. Like, go see it. You won't regret it. It's really good.
You heard that. Ben Affleck, thanks, man. Thanks for coming in and just sharing and thinking with me and just having a good time.
Thanks for having me, man. This was cool.
We're excited. I promise that I'll go see it. And
thank you.
And I think a lot of people will.
I hope so. Listen, a lot of people listen to the show, so I appreciate it very, very much.
We'll
Thanks
see.
for having me.
Tell your son I said hello.
I will, dude.
Bet.
That's right there. That's the whole reason for coming right there. That makes me cool right there.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gonna take.
Today's guest is an Arctic biologist who has come down directly from the Great White North to let us know exactly what's going on and to answer some questions we have about, well, all sorts of stuff. We're going to get into nature. We're going to get into the depths of the cold and Alaska. Today's guest is Mr. Seth Boudreau. So do you just come from Alaska?
Right now, coming from Costa Rica back up to Alaska. I just went down to see my lady and spent some time at my place, kind of in the middle of the work season.
Okay.
So basically 5 months a year in Alaska, May through September, studying migratory birds and wildlife. And then the rest of the year I'm down in Costa Rica.
And yeah, because you sent me a picture you sent me a picture one time of lunch, I guess it was, and it was some iguana claws. You guys had a batch of iguana.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, bro.
Yeah, my lady's dad traps them in the yard and cooks them up, and it's not that great. But yeah, if you're in a tight spot, some iguana will get you through.
Well, yeah, I saw it. Looked when I looked at them, and we'll have Nick put the picture up too. But they looked. I'd have thought you'd have eaten a different part of the iguana. I'd never really considered the claw.
Yeah, it was kind of all chopped up in there, but they're mostly bones, so it probably looked like a pot full of claws.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
When you cook them up, how do you even cook those?
I think he cooked them in a pressure cooker with like a chopped tomato and some garlic and onion, maybe some chicken bouillon. Pretty simple. It's just kind of, you can cook it the same way you cook chicken. Yeah. But it's not that great.
Is it like an island treat kind of? Is it pretty common there in Costa Rica?
No, I think a lot of rural people eat it occasionally, but a lot of people think it's gross and definitely don't eat it too. But
oh yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like it's almost like when I was growing up, people would eat a lot of like hog's head cheese and stuff, and you know, where my sister lived, they cook cracklings a lot of times where they'll just, you know, take a bunch of fat and put it in a pot, and
that's the best.
Yeah. At the beginning, you're like, where's the meat, you know? And then by the end, you're just like
left with these pieces of fried leather.
Oh, and they look, and they're just so dang tasty, really, and airy. They're almost just, it's almost like, they're almost like cotton candy, like the inverse of cotton candy a little
Definitely,
bit.
Yeah.
Cracklings.
Pretty far on the other end of the spectrum.
So when you go to Alaska, what part of Alaska are you in?
In the Arctic, so north of the Brooks Range. I'm at a science station.
Can you pull that up, Nick, the Brooks Range, so we can see that? I just want to have an idea where you are.
Yeah, about 370 miles north of Fairbanks.
Yeah, and I don't even know where Fairbanks is, dude.
The state
how far from Phoenix is what I want to know. Give me an idea.
The state looks like this, you know? These are the Aleutian Islands. Okay. Fairbanks kind of right in the middle, and I'm up towards the top there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm north of that mountain range.
Oh, wow.
So that's called the North Slope up there. That's where there's a lot of oil business going on, and the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
So you are up there.
Yeah, it's about a 10-hour drive to get up to where I work.
And if you go off the top, say you get to the top of Alaska and you take a boat north, what do you hit? The North Pole?
Eventually some ice.
Really?
Yeah. You can't really access the coast there without paying for a permit from the oil company to go on a tour. You can go on like an hour-long tour where you get to dip your toes in the Arctic Ocean, but they don't want people messing around up there. So you can't just access it on your own. They kind of own the whole north coastline there.
So it's private property.
Yeah. There's a town called Deadhorse up there. It's not really much of a town. It's like an industrial outpost where everything's made of metal and there's just testosterone in the air.
Dang.
It's a rough place. It's ugly. But you can see some cool birds up there, spectacled eiders and phalaropes and king eiders and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Now, are those birds that are they're only there?
Spectacled eiders, are real Arctic specialists. They didn't even really know where they spent the winter until pretty recently. The whole population goes to like an opening in the ice out in the Bering Sea, I think.
How do you say it? Spectacled eider?
Spectacled eider, Eider.
And when you're up there, like how close are you getting to these birds? Like what are you doing?
Too close. My job, I'm a naturalist for this science station up there, and so every day I'm out there just trying to document what's happening with wildlife when the bird species arrive to the area, when they leave in the fall, and then other wildlife. There's bears and wolves and wolverines and stuff up there. So I'm just out there spending time trying to see what's going on and document it just for posterity, basically.
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that crazy
beautiful
looking?
bird. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a sea duck, and they just breed on the coast in grassy ponds and then spend the winter out among the sea ice and openings.
Can you get a picture of the head again, Nick?
Look at that thing.
Wow. Yeah. What? And so what is that coming off the back? It almost looks like gills up there by its head. Is that? Or what is that? It's just feathering?
Just weird feathers.
And can you have one of these at the house, or these you
got to get some special permits for that. Yeah, they don't take kindly. I think it's a threatened species probably.
Wow.
There's just not that many of them, and they breed in really specific areas.
And can you watch them fight, or they don't fight? What do they do?
They seem pretty docile to me. They're just kind of sitting around in the water, minding their own business.
Yeah.
It's, Arctic summer is really short, and so the birds kind of have to get there and get on with it, get the breeding done, and then get the hell out of there.
So, and that's when a lot of them do breeding is in the summertime?
Yeah, pretty much only then. So we have like 110 species of birds we've observed in the area that are coming from the lower 48 states, Central America, South America, even all the way down to Antarctica. Some of them spend the winter down there.
So birds kind of just come, like everybody's kind of popping in. Huh?
Yeah.
Who's kind of the randiest group, because sometimes you're like on a plane to Vegas and you got different groups. You got a couple of German guys, you know. You got one guy making his own cocaine in the back seat. You got a bunch of Italians just drinking Deca 200. You got guys really. What kind of group gets up there and just really just turns it out?
There's a bird called the blue throat that is mostly a Eurasian bird, and the population just barely extends over into Alaska. So if you want to see them in the United States, you have to go up there. And look at that. They sing bird karaoke. They do like imitations of other bird species, and they'll do this repertoire that goes on for. They can imitate up to like 25 species of other birds, but so you hear them singing all this stuff, but it sounds a little off, like karaoke, where you're like, I don't think that's really the white-crowned sparrow, and it's that guy.
Ah, and so they're just kind of they're like impersonators almost.
Yeah, totally. And the females seem to get a kick out of the male with the biggest repertoire.
And oh wow, that's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's cool.
Just so bird's like going to be like, I'm going to go up there and now will they tempt other females from other species to come on over since they're using different people's songs?
I haven't seen them tempt females, but other species will definitely get agitated if they hear another bird singing their song, because when birds sing, they're basically advertising their territory. So they sing on the edges of their territory, and then the bird with the next territory over will hear it, and he'll kind of establish his border. So if they suddenly hear their own song in a place where they thought they had their territory staked out, some of them definitely respond aggressively.
So when a bird like sings, it's always to let people know that this is my territory?
That, and I'm available. So they're singing to let the females know that they've got this pad and they're ready to roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I got a comfortable place here. I got a little spot at the Days Inn or whatever. Yeah. Got me a little spot at the Hampton Inn.
Got it for the summer lined up.
Wow.
We got to get out. Yeah.
So those are the only two reasons. If you hear a bird, they're letting somebody know about their territory, or they are letting females know that they're available.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And is it just male birds that sing, or female birds also sing?
Mostly just male birds sing, and females do little calls that they use to keep in touch with each other and to warn each other of predators and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this one bitch to text me back right now, dude. It's only been 2 weeks, so she's probably busy. Traveling or something.
Yeah.
How cold? So when you get up to Alaska, man, how cold is it? Like, because people think of Alaska, and you know, like a lot of people, you think of like gold country and and that sort of thing. You think of it being cold. Is there a level where it doesn't matter that it's cold anymore, that you can't even, like, we can't even really feel a difference between, say, 20 degrees below and like 80 degrees below?
20 degrees below is not bad at all. When you get down to 40, I think 50 below is the lowest I've experienced. Then you're just in pain. You just don't want to be outside at all. And so down to minus 20, it's very dry up there, at least in Fairbanks. And so you can still go skiing and stuff and have an all right time. But when it gets colder than that, like, you can feel a breeze coming underneath the bottom of your cabin door, just because the temperature difference is so great that the air is just like whoosh, blowing in, trying to equal it out.
So wait, explain that to me. Like, I don't know what you're saying exactly.
When there's differences in temperature, the wind is basically air moving from one place to another, right? That's kind of a ridiculously simple way to describe wind.
Yeah, I get it.
I think we all understand that. But
now we do.
But like, when there's a big difference inside and outside, the air is trying to equalize to normal it out.
Okay.
So you have these like 10-inch thick walls of a cabin, or even the doors are usually have several inches of insulation. But just at the bottom, the only space where there's a little bit of air, it's just whoosh, blowing in. Like, your pants will go like this in the wind if you're standing near the door.
Because the air's coming in.
It's so much colder outside than it is inside. If you have it at 60 inside, that it just creates wind just trying to
rush that close to each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But when I get up there in early May, and that's when it's still winter a little bit, there's usually a few feet of snow on the ground, but it's already full daylight, so I don't see the sunset until September. So
the sun's up the whole time when you get there from May.
Yep. Yeah. Which, as I get older, it gets harder to be used to that. Like, we have blackout curtains, to try to make it dark in my room and stuff, but you can't keep it out, the light, a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of still winter a little bit in early May, and that's when the birds start to arrive to the area. So I'm out there all day, like, just visiting the same types of habitat and trying to keep track of when each species arrives to the area.
Oh, you're like a concierge almost.
Yeah, just trying to help them get settled in. So you do that for years and years and years, and then you have a nice record of exactly what was happening, in any given year, and you can track changes over time. And that's kind of how the good kinds of science work, where there's people studying really specific stuff up there about carbon release into the atmosphere and all that, but I'm just studying very basic, like, what are the animals doing?
Right.
And I really love that, because I've just always been more of a generalist, where I like being outside and just paying attention to stuff rather than have my nose in the tundra sniffing gases or whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not as much of a corporate hunter.
Right, yeah. Freelance.
Yeah. When you start to see, like, different patterns from birds, like, is there a time when you, like, really start to get scared? Like, is there one species that you really start to pay attention to?
Yeah, there's a couple times that birds have frightened me a little bit. There's a bird called the long-tailed Jaeger that it's a seabird. Basically, it's kind of like a gullish, ternish type of bird, but they're a predatory seabird. And they only come inland to breed on tundra. Yeah, that one.
Oh, wow.
So they eat voles and lemmings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when there aren't a lot of lemmings or voles around, those populations kind of crash occasionally. And when there's not any around, they'll just form groups of like 40 and just maraud around. And one time I saw a group of 40 just coming over a hill, and there was kind of a thundercloud in the distance. And I was like, I didn't know that they did that yet. It's like, why are these 40 birds coming at me?
It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought maybe they teamed up and were coming to get you?
I thought there was a tsunami coming or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You spend enough time out there, you see weird things like that most people, don't know happen.
Yeah. Animals are so in tune with Mother Nature. They're almost like, it's almost like they're like working for Mother Nature or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Or like you could get clues from them,
Yeah, definitely. I learn a lot about us from watching them, and I think that's one of the great things about doing that kind of work is just being out there and having the opportunity to be away from all the other noise that's going on and just watch other things and have time to think. And I've been doing it for 17 years now, so like ever since I've been an adult.
And is it a lifestyle that you think you could that you would want to go away from, or do you start to like look for? Do you really just look forward to that time up there?
Oh yeah, I'm away from my girlfriend, fiance, for those 5 months, which is why I go down and visit in the middle of that for 10 days. So it's really great to see her, and that's a cost, like it's definitely an alternative lifestyle. And a lot of couples, I don't think, could pull it off, long distance relationship. But we've been going nearly 6 years now, and it's working really great.
I would love it, man. Can't see you for 4 months. Still love you though. For me, it would be great. Yeah. It would just be. I think it's almost something I'm gonna have to have in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of something that I think about, like how quiet does it get? It must get extremely quiet, huh?
It gets so quiet that you can hear your own heartbeat like in your ears. Yeah, where there's no other sound, especially when there's no wind or anything. And you don't, being here, I'm in the belly of the beast here. Like,
especially LA.
Yeah, oh my God, flying in, everybody else seems to think it's fine, but I'm looking out there like, this is so wrong.
Now, when you say that, is it just like the amount of people, the amount of like goings on in one space, like the lack of space? What?
Yeah, that just humans living so out of balance with nature, and just everything that's here, we depend on someone else somewhere else making and doing, like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good for us, really. Like, having watched animals for so long, you kind of realize like we are just another animal. We are an ape. We're not special. We're not even domesticated. Like, we're as wild as we ever were. We just have changed our habitat a lot, to suit us. But it comes at such a great cost that when you're outside of this stuff and have the peace and time to kind of get out of it, and then you come back to it, it's pretty shocking.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's like, if you're in a bad relationship and your buddy could come up and tell you why you should get out of it.
Yeah.
You can listen and it makes logical sense maybe, but you come up with excuses for why you're just not going to do it yet. And then years later when you do, you look back and you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. That's what's going on?
Yeah, just because I had that chance to be outside of this human civilization kind of. And so you get a different perspective, I think. But I can't expect to make people understand that in the same way that when you're in a bad relationship, like someone could explain something perfectly.
See it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see something when you're in it.
Yeah. So it's nice to like down in Costa Rica, I'm living in a tiny little village. It's 200 people, and there's no other gringos around except for a couple of families of Mennonites. But
they're wild, huh?
They're baking over there. They got a little bakery, and they're pretty interesting. I got a Facebook message from someone I didn't know the other day saying the Mennonites want you to call them.
Gang, bro.
And I'm like, what do the Mennonites need me for?
Dude.
And it was a bird identification question. They saw a bird that wasn't in the book, and I'm like, Yeah, it's a southern
Getting ready for
lapwing.
Thanksgiving over there with those minnows, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And they're pretty self-sufficient, those cultures, aren't they? Like Mennonites and Amish.
In a way, yeah. The Mennonites are kind of weird where they use cell phones. They don't use the internet, but they'll use cell phones. They use motors. They're not like the Amish in that sense. They're really nice, but you feel a little weird around them because the women are covered, from head to toe. And I kissed an older Mennonite lady on the cheek by accident because that's a custom in Costa Rica when you say goodbye to someone.
Yeah.
And as I got closer, I kind of realized like she doesn't want this to happen, but I'm in too deep.
Oh yeah, that's most of it's a lot of Gianni and Nick's sexual history. Yeah. A lot of that going on in here.
But yeah, so being in these quiet places, it's great when people visit. Like I've got a lot of good buddies I grew up with who have come down to the place
just to hang out in Alaska.
Rica.
Oh, to Costa Rica.
Few have come up to Alaska, but I don't get that much time off up there. So my 7 months a year off is down in Costa Rica, and that's where people come visit and can kind of like, I think before they visit, they imagine me laying in a hammock on the beach drinking Imperial or something.
Yeah.
When they come down and see we're living in like a really small rural agricultural village, we're growing coffee.
So you got to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of action.
Yeah, that's kind of the best way we can be, is just doing work that's meaningful to you, to people around you. I can imagine the human exchange you get by helping others or being part of a small community. Yeah. That's how we're evolved to be, like we're supposed to be living in tribal groups of, up to 100 or 150. And then we've gotten so far away from that I don't think we can see our way back.
But do you think there could be a correction that happens that brings us back? Like sometimes I feel like that's the thing that I wonder. Like, does Mother Nature finally be like, all right, enough of this Sims bullshit,
Yeah.
We're about to tighten up the shit, I
think it's unavoidable. It happens to every other species on Earth. Every other species population goes up and down and up and down.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like lynx and snowshoe hares, their populations kind of follow each other. As the hare population gets high, the lynx start producing more kittens, and then start eating all the hares and start dying off, and then the lynx have to die off. Everything else goes like that. And if you look at a graph of the human population since like 1700, we've just been
climbing.
And we've done it by, like advances in agriculture and medicine and everything, which some of them are great, but we can't keep going forever.
Like how sustainable is it?
It's not at all. So that's hard to watch happening, and that no one gives a shit.
Right.
I'm lucky the time I've had to be out in the wild and to get that perspective, but it makes it harder to be in the civilized world because no one else knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Right. Oh yeah, you start to look like an alien.
Yeah.
You start to seem like something it starts to seem like you're the odd man out.
Right, exactly.
Where when really it's kind of the other way. I mean, I think especially in America, we don't notice that there's more like rural living in a lot of other cultures. We don't realize that in the whole globe that there's tons of it going on.
Yeah, like when people are talking about how we're going to have smart cars driving everybody around here, the rest of the world has no idea that's even being discussed.
Right.
Except for in big cities, maybe. But
it's funny. I go to Illinois in the summer, and they have a small town up there, and they don't even get 4G. Like it's 3G is what you get on your phone. So it's like, if you want to watch a video, dude, you got to drive with your buddy, 19 minutes, and park outside the McDonald's to catch enough freaking phone heat. So it's like those people aren't even worried about, and it's more like an agricultural environment in that area.
Yeah. And
but they're not worried
else,
about it.
Everybody else looks down on them,
Yeah.
Like they produce the food we eat. They do all this stuff that we kind of tried to get away from having to do ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we look down on them. It's so wrong.
It is crazy. I mean, especially a lot of media and stuff these days.
Yeah.
I mean, even Alaska, I'm sure. I mean, CNN hates anything that's white, it seems like. So I'm surprised that I'm surprised they're not Alaska deniers. But but yeah, it is. I guess it's you have such an interesting insight into that because you get to see it's like you're almost living in two different realms.
Totally. Yeah. and just occasionally passing through this one and just being like, what the hell is going on, you know?
Wow. Because your layovers are here on your way back to Costa Rica.
Basically, between these two kind of remote areas, I pass through places like this. And so I'm away for long enough where things have changed since I last came through, and I can see them. And most of them are alarming.
Wow.
Like the Uber drive over here is scarier than any bear encounter I've ever had.
I agree. That's a good call.
I mean, like, it's way more dangerous being on a highway here than being up there.
And now, so you must notice so many just like small, like, do you notice that you are alarmed at a personal level, or do you notice that you are alarmed at a level of like, you know, tension in your body or things like that from being in the city, like on the Uber drive, for example?
Yeah, both for sure. Like, I definitely feel way more in danger just because we're supposed to know everybody that we interact with. That's how our brains have been for hundreds of thousands of years.
Right.
So to be in a place where I've got a couple buddies I grew up with that I visit when I'm here, other than that, everybody's a stranger. And
yeah, it is kind of wild to think of how many strangers you run across and run past.
Yeah. So, and like, people are great generally, but I think evolutionarily in the back of your mind, you're not at ease, or at least I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we're an ape, but we're obviously super adaptable. So most people have adapted to deal with that pretty fine. And yeah, not me.
Do you feel like we're definitely apes? You have no doubt about it?
No doubt, yeah. Anybody who thinks we're not just hasn't thought about it enough, I think.
But don't you think, man, you got to think, if we're an ape, like, I've never looked at an ape. Like, for example, I've never been to the zoo and been like, you know, miss the old place, you know? Like, nowhere in my body does that reflect. And I'm not saying... I think maybe we might be monkeys that God created, you know? Like, I think maybe... I mean, do you think we're really an ape? Like, because
have you ever smelled your armpit, like, after a nice hike?
Yeah, a little bit when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I get the hang of it now, kind of, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, you watch how we behave in groups and...
Very much like apes?
Exactly as apes. Like, it's a miracle anytime we act above an ape, I think. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that often.
Oh, the more that I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then I'll go around to different places, and I'm like, damn, it's really hard to keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, people, like, we will constantly let each other down.
Yeah, it's terrible. But that's because there's so many of us so crowded in that we don't mean anything to each other. Like,
right. Yeah, that's a great statement. Yeah. That's exactly what I feel like here all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you're in a small community where you're kind of interdependent, that's how we're programmed to function. Like, in a group of apes, non-human apes or human apes, like, everybody's supposed to have a role.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of does something that contributes to the group every day.
So in larger cities, you can have a lot of people that they may have a role, but it's not as prominent, or it's not as defined, or maybe they can't find their role. We're set up. You probably then create a lot of depression, I would bet.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not surprising to me at all how much depression there is and how people are so disconnected. It's totally logical.
Right.
You know?
Because I like thinking about this. This is interesting. Yeah, because in cities, it's so funny. When I go home or I go someplace else, even when I go to other places in the U.S. even, I just feel the second I leave here, I feel so much more relaxed.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. I just feel better.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel like I feel like I have to fight so hard here to just be a person.
Yeah,
you know,
you do.
And it's just taxing.
Yeah.
After a while.
It's real frenetic here. There's no quiet. There's no darkness at night. There's all the light pollution. Like, it's so against how we spent so much time being. Just in this recent fraction of modern times is the only time
we're like this.
Yeah.
It's gotten so fast too.
Yeah.
What do you think are going to be some of the side effects of some of this that we're going to see? I mean, obviously we're seeing a lot of them now with like depression, people not feeling like they fit into the world, which makes sense. It's like, how could you feel like you fit in when there's so many people all clogged together and our genetics haven't really caught up to this new way of living?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's the thing, is I have no answer for it. Even after all this time, it still boggles my mind, and I see no way out of it other than just each person trying to do good things where they can, on a scale that they can see the results of, So like we always think of these problems as big global issues, but they're local issues, just piled on top of each other, and they're all results of individual people's decisions, So like,
I think that way all the time.
Yeah, you can't solve a big global issue. You can just see work that needs to be done, do it, and hope that you live to see the results, or that your kids do, or something. But even that, being an ape, we're not programmed to think that far.
Possibly being an ape.
It's still up for debate.
I mean, it's just like, here's the thing, dude. I never seen an ape and been like, oh yeah,
Really?
My buddy. Yeah,
really?
Fuck no, dude. Fuck no, I haven't.
You gotta go to the zoo again, man.
Bro, I've been over there, man. I've been over there. But I never seen an ape yet. Not once have I looked at an ape and been like, oh man, yeah. Wonder what the boys are up to. Fuck no, man. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, but now what? But you're out in nature. You're out in you're out in the expanse of probably some of the most beautiful places you could probably see. Is that true, or is it just disgusting? Like, is it barren up there, and like, is it miserable?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah, like the mosquitoes in Alaska in the summertime. I don't know if you know, but it's insane.
Oh yeah,
like you have to.
And that's not a racial slur. He's talking about the actual animal.
Yeah, you have to wear head nets and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no humidity, right?
It's pretty dry, but with all the snow that melts in the spring, and the mosquitoes have laid their eggs in those areas, and they kind of start hatching out. There's videos that have been shot up where I work where you will not believe the amount of mosquitoes. So,
you got to go to Jefferson Parish, dude, in Louisiana, bro. They have, I mean, we go toe to toe with you. They should have a contest, where we bring our mosquitoes and you bring yours, and we watch them fight or something over there in Reno.
Then they hybridize. Look at that.
You have it. Wow. Oh my God. This looks like a big orgy or something.
It is, yeah. But
well, hold on a second, because there's two things I'm thinking. One, are mosquitoes like little bitty birds? I know they're insects, but are they similar to birds or not?
They fly, and some people say it's the Alaska state bird, some bumper stickers with that on it. So that's evidence, right?
But as far as like genetically and like, are they similar?
Not really. No.
Okay. Kind of buzzkill a little.
No literally. Pun intended.
Yeah. Wow, Nick, fucking spicy there today. No pun intended on the buzzkill, man. That's good.
Yeah.
And I repeated it because some of our listeners still didn't get it. That's the only reason. And I don't think if I fully got it.
Yeah. But that's a fair point. Like, there's great beauty up there. It's magnificent landscape.
But wouldn't that beauty make you think like, okay, there's a higher power. There's something creating. There's something bigger going on. There's something creating all this.
Yeah, I don't know. I just with that question, I always just end up saying I don't know, and I don't know if it even matters. Like, here we are.
Right. It's a good point. Yeah, like basing your whole existence on that seems kind of intense.
Yeah, I'm thinking that which one of the many thousands of answers is the right one. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. But when you're in some of those spaces and it's so natural and it's so quiet and you have the ability to even hear your own heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, it must be like almost like a really intense meditation that goes on at like a core level, or at like a level of even your cells that you can't even really fathom, probably a level of like peacefulness and stuff.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel like what insight do you get to, is there like something bigger going on here, or do you feel like a part of something bigger, or do you just feel like really small? Does it?
You definitely feel more part of the big picture, but you also feel small because you are a tiny part of a giant picture.
Right.
You know? So
because especially if you're studying nature and stuff like that, you're really, you're right there on the food chain. You're basically, you know.
And I've been charged by bears.
You're polishing the food chain, really.
Yeah. I've been charged by bears, muskox. I had the incident with a swan, you know.
Now, what do you when you say you had an incident with a swan? I've had a couple. I had some fucking shit go off in Oregon one time, but I was trying to jog in these. Dude, when some of those animals group up, they get real violent.
They do, yeah.
It's like Antifa almost or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely find strength in numbers.
And you went toe to toe with the swan up there?
I went hand to neck with a swan.
You killed it?
Yeah, I choked it out. Yeah.
Damn, boy. That's what I'm saying, dude. Poirier over Khabib, bro. That's where I'm going with right there.
It nearly got the best of me, though.
Did it really?
They're like this tall. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the wings are probably more than 6 feet across.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, and what do they do? How do they come in? Like, what's their attack?
They're mostly body work.
Is it really? Yeah. Bro, how is that not a fucking sport? There have been so many, dude. I remember they used to have this group, and I use this term, I don't know, loosely or however I use it, but they used to have a group that would come through our college in town called, it was fag fist fights, right? And it was gay men that would fist fight each other in a boxing ring, and you'd pay for it at the bar. You pay $6 or something, and you got a beer, and you got to watch these guys go at it. And but I would pay anything to watch, a biologist and a 4.5 foot swan
figuring things out,
go toe to toe, dude. Yeah. Do they strike at you? What do? They nip at you with the beak?
Yeah, I got it by the neck right away. So it couldn't get me with the beak, but it was hissing at me.
Nick wants to bet on this. Nick loves to bet on fights.
And the fact that it went to the body first, that's always the best strategy.
Yeah, I was taken aback. But so I had it by the neck, and it was beating me with its wings, and it's kind of disorienting.
That's a good term, disorienting. So does it feel like painful, or does it feel like scary?
Kind of scary, just because I thought, I had shot it once, and that was the last bullet we had.
Where'd you shoot it? You just shoot it point blank, or how'd you shoot it?
No, it was in the back.
Jesus Christ, dude! Like the Coward of Jesse James. Have you seen that movie? Man, sorry to call you out, dude, but damn.
I know, but dude, we had no more food, and we had another week to go out there. So what are you gonna do?
Look, man, I feel you. What is it? Oh, the assassination of Jeffy James
by the coward Robert Ford.
Yeah, I know. I'm not proud. Not proud.
You shot him in the back.
It was trying to get away, but
so your food was that vital at that point?
Yeah, we had this pilot was supposed to fly over, drop off 2 dry bags full of food, and he was supposed to get 100 feet off the water, but because of the weather, he was 500 feet up. So these dry bags hit the water, exploded.
Denzel Washington, right there. Yeah. I've seen that.
So all we could salvage, we ran out into the river and were trying to grab what we could, but it was going away pretty quickly. We got a small bottle of whiskey that the pilot had included for us just to be nice.
Wow.
And a couple fruit cups, I think.
And so that's your rations for what, the next week?
It would have been, yeah, a week and a half, I think.
So now you're like, damn.
Yeah, we were in trouble. So and we were, probably a couple 100 miles outside of Fairbanks, I think. So there's no getting out of there, and we're up a tiny little river where you have to float all the way down to get to a place where a float plane can come get you. And we just had to start hunting grouse and geese and ducks and whatever there was, but we weren't planning on hunting. We have guns for bear protection, so we didn't have that many bullets,
Yeah. So you had to, did you guys miss a couple times, or you?
No, we're pretty good.
And is it a pistol you walking right up on them and shooting them in the back, or is it you shooting from far away?
No, it was a shotgun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, and we were
kind of makes me sad a little.
Yeah.
Some grouse out there chilling, dude, maybe having a cigarette or just relaxing.
Yeah, looking at the foliage.
Yeah, thinking about owning land one day, and you fucking just come up and blow them in the back.
Grouse aren't that smart. Like, yeah, I've hunted them before, and they'll get into a tree and they don't realize that they don't blend in with the tree. They blended in when they were on the ground, but then they're in a tree, and you can
pretending
see
like they're blending.
They think they still blend in, and you're like, I see you, man.
That's the story of my life, I feel like.
They think they're all slick looking at you. Yeah.
Now, what about the fox, man? We had a fox in school when I was young, and somebody stole it, right? And I knew it was going to happen. But what about the fox? Are they out there still?
Yeah, there's red foxes up there, the occasional Arctic fox.
Wow, that's good to hear, man.
They're cool to see. You watch them hunting voles through the snow in the spring, and they're walking along on top of the snow, and then they'll cock their head and kind of triangulate the sound. They're hearing the vole moving under the snow. Wow. Then they pop up into the air and dive into the snow, and probably 6 times out of 10, they come up with the vole.
It's like Iwo Jima, dude. Have you guys seen that D-Day or whatever? That's insane, man. Is that one of the most unique hunting techniques that you see out there?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the few species I've actually got to see hunting. Even all this time up there, I've seen wolves chasing a caribou once.
Wow, look at that fox. And they're good jumpers, huh?
Yeah.
People don't realize that. They're like the Greg Louganis of like the animal kingdom. Look at that. So they hear the rodent under the snow.
Yeah.
And then they get that lift and just hit them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. They triangulate the location, and then I don't know how, but
they do that math in their head, huh?
Yeah.
Shut
little light trigonometry.
Wow. It's pretty wild. Now, what are some of the larger animals that you'll see up there in the area that you're in?
Grizzly bears, the occasional moose, muskox, caribou. Those are the big ones.
Which one are the most friendly, do you find, to humans? Or even maybe overall? Can animals some of them can seem friendly, like a dog can seem real friendly, you know? Are any of those larger animals you see up there friendly?
Caribou aren't unfriendly. You can trick them to come closer to you by putting your arms up, and it kind of looks like a pair of antlers, and either their eyesight's not that good or they're not that bright, but they'll start walking towards you, wondering if they're going to fight you or try to copulate. Or
oh yeah, it's like a drunk uncle almost, I feel like. That's what it seems like a little, you know?
Yeah.
So caribou you can kind of get near.
Yeah, muskox you can get near. They don't know what's going on. They're just eating vegetation and staying put pretty much. They don't move a lot.
Do you get a sense of do you get a sense of like what the ice age was like and stuff when you're up there? Like do you start to get like a sense of like, wow, what people have gone through over history and stuff like that? Like,
yeah, you'll find not only fossils from 300 million years ago of coral and stuff when it used to be under the ocean up there. Yeah. But then you'll also very rarely find artifacts from native folks from 10,000 years ago or whatever. I found a little spearhead sitting on top of this little knoll. I went up there because it looked like a good viewpoint, and I'm sitting there looking for animals and stuff, and then I see sitting next to me this spear point. So someone else thought it was a good viewpoint also 10,000 years ago. No one else went up there since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing knowing that
it's so human. Something like that is very human.
Yeah.
I bet I would feel so like, wow, like I'm a part of something very long.
Yeah. And then you go back to the station and eat ravioli or something, and you lose the connection.
You're like, man, I'm a part, You cut that microwave on, and it really kind of shuts down those inner beacons, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like, it's hard to not be stuck sometimes, though, in this society that we're in, though.
That's the thing.
Do you blame humans? Do you blame businesses? Is there any blame? Is it just where we are kind of like, and this isn't everyone, obviously, this is more cities than rural areas.
Yeah. I think it's the natural tendency for most animals to try to make their situation easier, not necessarily better, or maybe in a certain definition, but easier. Like, if a dog gets unlimited food, might just eat themselves into obesity, right?
Yeah.
And it's not good for them, but they might, if they could articulate their thoughts, they might be like, well, there's all this food, it'd be good if I ate it, maybe there won't be later. So I think every little incremental change along the way has seemed like a benefit to us, and it has been in a sense, but there are always unforeseen effects that come off of it that you can't predict. And by the time they're really prevalent, you're already too far used to the thing that you can't really think about going back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, if you get used to like doing Halloween and they tell you no,
yeah, exactly.
Dude, you're gonna be fucking. You're still gonna be. You'll lay on the porch forever. Just expecting candy.
Yeah. So that's the hardest thing. Is like
I can totally see that, and it's really interesting because then even as humans, we have the addictive personality.
Yeah, totally.
We have the easy ability to like that sugar lizard that just gets with just grasp the easiest first thing.
Yeah.
It's like you really have to fight that instinct these days.
Yeah.
In order to get to a more natural state of yourself.
Yeah. And most people aren't interested in that at all. Like, would never spend 5 minutes even thinking about it.
Right. Isn't that baffling sometimes?
It is, yeah.
Because I think a lot of times that we're all on this struggle where we're trying our best, We know that some of the stuff you're saying, we get it, we can feel it, we know that I'm taking these easy way outs here and there, and I know it's not benefiting me at like a level inside of me. But then you see some people and you're like, oh, they don't stand a chance. Like, not this, maybe their next generation or two might, but whoever this person is, I've seen some people wandering around a gas station sometime like, oh, this dude, he'll stay in here forever, dude.
He's going to eat one of those hot dogs.
Yeah, bro. He's going to eat 100 of them. This dude will be in here forever.
Yeah.
This dude will lay on the grill after a while.
Thinking it's a tanning booth.
Oh, he's going to change his name to Frank. Yeah, it just never end, bro. This dude will feed himself to his own family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you meet people that are like, and it's not their fault really. It's just maybe where they are genetically.
Yeah.
It's like,
or it's the culture where if everybody's doing this one thing, it's so hard to go against the grain. And that's the biggest part of the trouble is that the way I talk about things, a lot of people say like, what do you want to go back to the 1700s? No, like there were good things we gave up along the way that we shouldn't have given up. Like the great things we've come up with in medicine.
Yeah, like witchcraft, I think, bro.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Probably better.
Left I don't know why I keep looking at these guys. They're not laughing at any of my jokes either. I'm joking. You're doing a good job. Gianni's not. Yeah, it's true. We've created a real totalitarian environment here that we're not very proud of sometimes. But so isn't it crazy to think then that like it's like survival of what will be the fittest then moving forward? Is it people that are able to realize that not to give in to all the comforts, that are able to have some awareness?
Yeah.
Or what is the next survival of the fittest? Because survival of the fittest used to be, it was the strongest.
Yep.
Right? And it was often sometimes the craftiest too.
Yeah, definitely.
But you had to also, you had to align yourself with somebody that was strength because you would need that support. But now I'm wondering what it's becoming in our society, in America anyway.
Yeah. I feel like we're adapted to get the next generation going, but not really anything beyond that, which logically we shouldn't be programmed to think that far into the future because every other animal just tries to get the next generation out and then they've done their part, Forget what the hell where I was going with that.
That's fine. Happens to me in the middle of every sentence, dude. Imagine running into a room to tell people something and then forgetting what it was.
Just looking excited.
Well, that's how I feel every single sentence. It's like, dang, dude, this is going to be good. And then you're just standing there with a murder weapon in your hand. You're like, fuck, man, I need a preposition. Gets a little alarming. What do you guys got over here? Nick, Gianni, what's going on?
When you're up in Alaska away from people that long and then you come back, do you find it hard to communicate with people?
A little bit, yeah. I think because I work alone most of the time up there and I have my thoughts, on tumble dry up top, it can be weird trying to articulate these kind of ideas, I guess. But,
do people seem stupid?
That's a good question. Yeah, do people seem stupid when you come back to us? Like when you come back to
No, it's not stupid at all. Because you guys are well adapted to your situation here, Like maybe not long term as a species, but everybody's just kind of doing what they got to do,
And LA is a short-term environment. I feel like it screams that.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
People are here passing through to get enough to get to the next whatever they would rather be doing, or an environment that would be more comfortable. Yeah. It's really for the entire world. This is almost just like an airport. It feels like
it is. Yeah.
it even never ends. It feels like we're still in this like a very far terminal of the airport right here. We're podcasting. And even when I'm at my apartment, it feels like that. I'm like, man, I just never leave the airport.
Yeah.
It just never ends here.
What is amazing about LA is how quickly you can get way away from here. Like the hike I went on yesterday with my buddy up in the San Gabriel Mountains, I guess.
Was it Eagle Rock or something?
It was Dawson Saddle up to Thoup Peak, I think.
Damn.
Which is up at like 9,000 something hundred feet. It's gorgeous up there. We maybe passed 10 people on the trail in 4 or 5 hours. And get
to
up.
You, that was busy.
It was, yeah. It's like this place is.
This is bumper to bumper. Yeah.
But you can get up to that peak and look. You can have a 360 view of everything way out to, I don't know if it's Palmdale, where it's just flat desert out that way.
I've been to Eagle Rock or something out there before.
It was about an hour and 40-minute drive to get out there. Mm-hmm. But it was gorgeous.
Was there a chairlift that if you wanted to, like it was around there in that area?
We passed some chairlifts, yeah.
I think I've been up that hike before. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Man.
And you can see LA and downtown in the distance in the smog, and it's just like all of that is happening down there. And nobody's up here.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, some cool birds, some dirty bird species up there. Pygmy nuthatch.
Really?
Bush tit.
Oh, dude. I'll show you some fucking bush tits right over here off the 101.
Williamson sapsucker.
Nick's seen some, definitely not on the work computers though. That's the rules we have going on around here, bro. Yeah.
National Geographic for that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I remember jerking off back in the day to National Geographic, just a dark tit near a fire. It's no wonder I ended up like I did. That's a beautiful bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you think like, do you get a sense when you're up there by other animals that they know that you're a human? Do they know, like, do they think that you're like an anomaly or like a abnormality? Do you think like?
It is kind of weird because, yeah, they're not evolved to know what we are. I guess, native people have been there for 10,000 years. So maybe that's enough for some of them. Most of them run away, like they seem to understand that whatever you are, it's probably not good.
Yeah.
But I've had birds land on my head, like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So there's some animals that seem to see you as like something to land on, I guess.
Do you find that animals are still like curious about it? Like, do you find that they're curious a little bit? Like, what are animals like, kind of?
They're mostly just minding their own business and trying not to get eaten by something. Like you ever watch a bird eating, they're just looking up every 2 seconds. Like they'll take a bite and then look up, and they just can't relax.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for them. And then the migration, like they migrate using the celestial sky. So they orient themselves to the stars and migrate that way.
Really?
Yeah.
So they operate totally, their migration patterns, they base those after looking at the stars and seeing what's going on?
They know where the North Star is, and they orient based on that. So they have these kind of like tracks in their genetics, basically. Some of them have it in there, and some of them learn it. But it's sad because like all these cities and all this light pollution totally disorients them. So,
yeah, you got a couple of sparrows jerking off outside of Detroit for no reason.
Yeah, they got to move it along. But
no, I could totally imagine that. Yeah, like how we're damaging, like how we're like we don't even realize the effects that we're having.
Not at all. Yeah, because most people never would have a reason to stop and think about it. Like the Twin Tower Memorial in New York, they have these 2 pillars of light that they put up around that time, I think in late September. And that's right during bird migration. Oh. And there's videos of literally hundreds and thousands of birds flying around and around and around and falling to their death. And if they see a certain number of birds up there in the lights, they'll shut them off for a half an hour. But just that alone is killing probably thousands of birds a year. So that's the kind of...
That's a perfect example. It's
a
perfect example. Like we're doing something that we feel like humans are doing something that we feel like is honoring, others, that it's, it's out of love and, support.
Yeah.
And then even in that space, we're killing thousands of fucking birds every year.
There's a pile on the ground.
We're just trying to get to Florida. Yeah.
Some guy's shoveling him into the ditch in the morning.
Oh, sure.
But that's the thing, there's always unforeseen...
Such an example,
always unforeseen costs, and I think anytime you can ask yourself, what is the cost of what I'm doing or what I'm participating in, you find you go further down the line and you realize things that you never would have figured out from the get-go and that nobody really talks about.
You know, it's interesting. We try and think about that even sometimes just here with podcasts, like trying not to sell like bad products to people or like,
that's great.
You know, we're trying like, you know, I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah. I mean, I think we try to affect the things that are close to us. But yeah, it's interesting. It's like it's so weird. It's like you grow up, or I grew up anyway, I guess, like you end up working in a business or in society, and it's kind of built where it's like you want to, you know, achieve things or achieve your goals. And with those, it's almost like you don't even realize the side effects that are going on, or even the chain that we're a part of.
Yeah,
like the whole system we're a part of isn't even. It's not working like very like copacetically with nature all the time.
Because we don't have to see the effects of anything we do now. Like everything happens somewhere else. Somebody else is doing everything to produce the things that we use and depend on. So back when we were in hunter-gatherer groups, we saw the effects of everything you did. Like,
right in front of you.
Yeah, you couldn't eat everything there was because then there was nothing left.
Right.
Here we just kind of pretend that there's an endless supply of everything, and we create so much destruction with people like
Jesus Christ
and nature.
Gianni. Sorry. But no, it's sad. I mean, it's almost, does it get sad a little bit?
It's totally sad. And that's one of the hardest things is like feeling so at odds with the rest of how most of society works and kind of feeling like it really shouldn't be like this, but you got to play the game a little bit. But
right, you have to play. Yeah, you have to play the game some. You have to meet people where they are. You have to, like, do you look at society as like? Is it hard not to look at society as like, oh, well, they're bad people? These people that we are bad.
It's hard to not think that, and that would just be an emotional, frustrated reaction, you know.
Yeah.
But I know everybody is in the situation they're in, and if I was in a different situation, I would have, you know, less freedom to make choices too.
Yeah.
And less time to think about it. So, but that's why, like, where we live down south, that small village where everybody knows everybody and you kind of help your neighbors out, you trade bananas and oranges and stuff.
Teamwork.
Yeah. We grow coffee and we drink our own coffee. You know, it's nice to just, when you can do something for yourself, do it, because it hits this kind of instinctual feeling we have where that was a part of our genetics, you know, to be.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're far from that if we really tapped into it? I don't know if we are.
If we are already too far beyond that or
right, like have we already become too much of like, you know, zombies, you know?
I think so. Like, I think every other species gets knocked back down by starvation, predation, or disease, right? Every single other thing. And we keep pushing those things off, but we can't do it forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it, Like if I die in like a big, you know, thing that's crazy, it's like a, you know, a war for food or something, at least it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good couple hours of television, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be.
Somebody will be filming it.
Yeah, somebody will be filming it. And even if they're not, what an exciting, like sometimes I think about that. Like imagine being in like a real shootout or a real like, you know, like you see Leonardo DiCaprio fight that bear in The Remnants or whatever.
Yeah, that was very realistic. By the way. Yeah.
And it's like, how great. Like even, it's almost like just to feel that alive for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking the other day to this UFC fighter and he was telling me like, I'd seen a picture of him. He'd lost a fight or he'd come in second. And I was like, man, but you still look like you had like gone through something. And he's like, man, it's crazy. He's like, every fight you go through, it's like you come out, even if you don't get the outcome you want. He's like, you come out the other side, you have new revelations about yourself, like at a level that you didn't even really know.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff just, man, it's so enviable than like sometimes just beating this drum out here. Not that our lives are bad or anything. Obviously, you know, like, you know, it's comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
But is it, I often wonder if I'm very much rewarded at like a level inside of me that is almost like a light that's getting dimmer and dimmer over time because we just keep throwing these like blankets on it, you know?
I think you do good things, you know, for the single moms and stuff like that's.
Oh,
you've definitely had an eye for seeing things that you can do that are good and do them.
Right.
So,
well, that's nice of you to say that, man. You know, and I'm lucky I got, you know, Nick and Johnny, everybody's super, you know, we all kind of, you know, Nick and I have similar backgrounds and some of that. And yeah, but I think even just hearing you say that, like, you know, touch the things that we can that are close to us. Because I do notice that I don't like about myself when I start saying, oh, we all need to be like this. It's like that's when we get preachy and then we just get disconnected.
Yeah,
it's so disconnecting. It's like, yeah, if we're gonna solve, people always point at the government. Like the government's just us.
Yeah, they're people that we chose.
Yeah. And they're just humans. Like if something's gonna be different, we have to make it. We have to do it.
Yeah, it reflects what we said we wanted, basically.
Yeah.
And so the problem is always down at the individual level.
Yeah. But it's kind of nice. It falls back on us in the end. Like
totally.
If all these cities burn, or if there's an electric outage and we're never able to get it back up or something, you know, like immediately, you really quickly are going to be, your brain is going to be asking yourself, well, who am I? Like, it's going to be a quick turn.
Yeah.
Who are you? You
and
know?
What can you do?
And what can you do?
Yeah. You can't do anything that's necessary.
I'm going to Joe Rogan's, bro. Hopefully, dude. That's where I'll be, bro. I'll be back there to skinning bison for him. That's it, bro.
Yeah. If something does go down, like the power, you're right. Can you imagine how quickly it would be complete chaos?
Yeah,
like
in an hour.
Nobody knows how to grow anything. Nobody knows how to fix anything. The water suddenly doesn't come to your apartment. Nobody knows how to live like that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be good. And I'm not going to survive it either. Like, I can grow some things, but not enough to...
But dude, you could fucking, bro, let's be honest, dude, you could rear naked choke a swan.
If I can find one,
You can have fucking twice the chance we are. Me and Nick are eating Gianni. So he's built pretty well, dude. You can see his ass in the movie Ma if you ever want to see that movie. It's a pretty decent movie, but
yeah.
But yeah, dude, for no reason in the middle of the movie they make Gianni get naked.
I actually have a question. So I feel like a lot of people all the time are like, oh, well, where do I start? There's so much, like, I feel like I'm so behind. Like, what's something that someone could start doing, like, every day? Like, somebody could do something where they could further themselves to help the environment instead of just destroying it.
I think the Amish, like, you wouldn't want to live like the Amish, right?
I don't know, dude. I like not having a lot of choices, bro.
Yeah.
I like limited choices, dude.
That's a great point. Yeah, humans do best when their choices are limited, I think.
That's great to hear, actually.
And if you have every new technology that comes out, the Amish ask themselves, what is this going to do to our community? And they usually come to a conclusion that they shouldn't accept this new technology.
Wow.
And we should do a lot more of that on the individual level, but I realize how hard it is. Like, I kept off from getting a smartphone for a bunch of years, longer than most people, but then I got one and I spent too much time on it, and we're so easily falling into those holes, you know. So but people need to spend time outside. Like, people need to get away from light pollution and noise pollution and just get to a quiet place and sit there and think a little bit, you know. Like, so many of our politicians and stuff who are making big decisions that affect everybody, most of them have never been to a wilderness area. Like, they don't even know what it is to be a human animal. They just know, like, what it is to be living in modern society and think that that's how everything has to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny even hearing, like, it's making me think, like, we think that so much, like, even just being in LA for a while, you start to think that everybody's similar to you, that everybody's like you.
Yeah. Which probably makes you have some desire to be different, which makes a lot of people act freakishly, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe not.
Maybe. I mean, you might be right. I couldn't, I was listening to you, but I couldn't process what you were saying.
Okay.
And that's probably it's, you know, sometimes it's fucking, you know, sometimes I go offline, man, and that's it. There's nothing I can do, dude. Sometimes I'm looking at stuff, I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
But you can also, like...
But, you know, here's what I was thinking. But it's not our fault as humans. It's like, we're just humans. Like, if you're just born into an environment, like, it's nobody's fault.
Right, yeah, exactly. So...
It's just like, I guess, what type of life do we want to know, or what type of what type of life do we want to live? What do we want to know? You know, what do we want to see is like the capabilities in ourselves.
Yeah.
Some cultures, especially, are very happy with just like comfort and you know. And then I think there's some people, or not cultures, but some people, they just want more. They want something different.
Yeah. When things are available, it's hard to deny yourself taking them.
Yeah.
You know. And so.
Oh yeah, ask the British, dude. You know.
Yeah.
So we get blamed for slavery, but they really did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like when things, and it's like, I wonder if that's just the story of humans, how we're supposed to be. It's like
probably, yeah. I'm
it's like
open
a
to
fallacy,
that too.
you know. It's just like
it's natural,
right?
What we're doing is natural.
And even a bird, you set a nice little thing of bread over two branches from a bird, that guy's gonna fucking be over there.
Yeah, yeah.
So once birds get these little, they get a smart beak. For fucking rap.
A coyote ate my fiance's sandals the other day, and I was kind of surprised.
Sexy kind of little. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised that a coyote had the spare time to be doing that kind of stuff. Like, shouldn't they be out finding something to eat?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's hitting everybody.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's creature comforts, man. You're gonna see a coyote in sandals a couple months from now.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
So when do you go back? When do you go back into the Great White North? Man, you're so far up there.
Yeah,
you're so far up there.
Yeah,
you're close to Asia.
Yeah,
people don't even realize if we get to the north of Alaska.
Yep.
you're pretty much practically Japanese.
A little bit, yeah. I've been to one of the Alaskan islands where you can see Russia. It's like 35 miles away, and you just see this icy cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And the native folks said that they used to go back and forth because the Siberian Yupik speak the same language as the ones on the Alaska side. They used to trade ladies back and forth and stuff, and now they can't anymore. And yeah, so it's a crazy environment. It's mostly treeless up that far north. It's north of the tree line, so you can see really great distances. And yeah, it's incredible. It comes alive in June. All the little plants start growing a little bit and flowering. The birds are all breeding. Bears are fattening up. And then by late August, it starts snowing again and everything dies. And then September, starts getting covered in snow again.
So it's really life cycle. You see a real life cycle almost, I bet,
very
with that.
Condensed into a short period of time.
Wow.
And so once the migratory birds take off, then I basically follow them down to Costa Rica and get there and see them passing through. So it's kind of a migratory lifestyle.
You ever seen one of the same birds?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen one up there and then seen the same individual down there, but I have seen birds return that have gone on migration and come back to the same exact places. So, because I've done bird research in Costa Rica, and you band them, you put little colored leg bands on.
I've seen it on the internet. They put a little sock or something.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we studied golden wing warblers, and they winter in Central America and breed up in northern U.S. and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So they fly all the way there, navigating by the stars, and then pass the breeding season, don't get eaten by anything, reproduce, and fly all the way back to the same patches of forest. And it's a little 9-gram bird.
Do you think it's just like coming home? It's just like humans? Do you think it's some of that same type of thing? Like you want to go home sometimes, or that? Or is it just more of like a natural thing? They have to go right back to the same spot. Like, is there a reason for it?
They have territories, so they'll come back to the same spot and defend a territory, even on the wintering grounds. Some of them pretty aggressively, and
do they have gay birds too, or not? Be honest with me.
Yeah, I mean, ducks especially.
In the park all the time.
Yeah, and penguins. Penguins are terrible.
I would be. If I was a penguin, I would be. You're out there, dude. It's a tough life, dude.
You show up to shore and there's 2 million of them.
Yeah. Dude, you'll plan it. You'll plan a route on anybody that's freaking, willing at that point.
Got a pulse or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked in Antarctica as well, so I've done.
And that's the North Pole, really.
The Antarctic.
The South Pole.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked on a sail ship a 100-year-old Dutch tall ship that took people down to the Antarctic Peninsula from Argentina and back. And once we did a trip all the way over to South Africa from South America via Antarctica. Visited Tristan da Cunha, which is the most remote inhabited island in the whole world.
Wow.
It's like 400 inbred people living on this volcano in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
400 people, only 6 last names.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And what do they seem like at a certain point? Do they seem really like in tune with what's going on, or are they just like 5-armed and just, hoping for the best?
It's pretty weird. They weren't even on a monetary system until 1960. So they were just bartering and stuff, and every family has like a couple of sheep and a cow and a certain size piece of land on the side of this volcano.
Wow.
They were nice people, but you could tell that after being there a couple of days, they're kind of ready for you to get out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you kind of You upset the flow a little bit?
Yeah, just because, like we were talking about, you're supposed to know everybody in your immediate sphere, and then you have this ship sailing up and a bunch of scruffy people from Holland and stuff coming up and taking pictures of everything. I don't know. It's probably a little off-putting.
Yeah, I could imagine. I'd like to go over there and we could do a group trip. Do a work trip.
Yeah. You have to sail there or take a boat there. Like there's no other way to get there because it's too far for any.
And when you pull up, like, what are these people doing? I mean, they're all. I mean, like you said, it's very tribal, huh?
It's not really tribal. Like they're
all one group.
Yeah, but it's not native people. That's the weird thing. They're all descended from sealers and whalers who shipwrecked there. So there's Italian descent, English descent. They have this kind of weird British accent. It's really weird. And it's
some chicks or not, be honest.
I didn't see anybody like that. Yeah.
Dang. My last question for you my last thing I want to think about that everybody, it's obviously a big topic, always global warming, like, what are your thoughts, man? Do you feel like we are ruining things? Do you feel like, that it's just the flow of things that, that there's a cycle? Like what's some of your vibe from being up there on some of the front lines of just seeing what's happening?
Yeah, where I work, there's a lot of people studying climate change, and yeah, it's very clear that it's happening, and of course it's because of us, like at least to a certain extent. Like the amount of people on the earth burning things and using up resources, like there's no way that wouldn't affect things. So, but to me, that's kind of like, it's a big concern, but even if we fix that, we'd still not be really getting anywhere as far as I'm concerned.
And do you see like a lot of the people that are up there doing research and that kind of stuff, do you trust all the research that they're doing? Like sometimes it just seems like, people these days especially, you can create any belief you want. And I'm not denying climate or anything like that. I'm saying like, but people can create anything they want. Everybody has the technology to create any story that they want to.
Yeah.
Do you see some of that? Like some of it seems like kind of motivated, like in like negative ways, or do you feel like it's honest, just research, like people want to know what's going on?
I think the research is pretty honest, trying to document what's going on, but you definitely see people studying things that they know they'll be able to get funding for. So that
right.
Affects,
so you almost have to plan ahead because you want to get the funding.
Yeah.
Because even if your idea is too obtuse sometimes, though it could be more helpful.
Yeah.
A government agency or something, they're not going to give the funding for that.
Exactly.
It's going to sound crazy to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's a great place, and there's up to 150 people there during the peak of the summer. There's only about 3 people there during the winter most of the time. Just 3 people losing it.
Dang. And a little bit of murder every now and then, or what's
No,
up?
there's never been any real. That's the thing is like, I don't know. We look back at hunter-gatherer people or small groups of people and think that it was all violence all the time. It really wasn't. Like it was occasional skirmishes with neighboring groups and stuff, but like it wasn't that bad. There was high infant mortality, but if you made it through that, you generally lived a pretty normal lifespan.
Yeah, babies die, especially if you got an open fire going on, dude.
I know, yeah.
Babies are risky,
And they would let them crawl into it.
It's crazy, just to see what the gods wanted.
Yeah, or just to let the strong survive.
That's crazy.
It's just different.
It's like it's like one of those Tony Robbins things.
It's just different value systems, that we can't imagine taking part in, but if we were born there, we'd think it's totally normal.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? I almost feel like a little bit, not embarrassed, I guess, talking to you a little bit, but like I almost feel a little ashamed of our own existence a little bit. Not from you as a person, but just like thinking about that, because you never think about it. You know? Like you never really, I don't know, or I don't anyway. A lot of people might, and I wish I did more. And I think you actually reached out to me originally saying, hey man, you should go on some hikes. You should, I think that's how we kind of crossed paths. Is that right?
Yeah, I called in with the Swan call.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Because then I know we've communicated over email. You sent me some very beautiful pictures, and we're going to put some of those up throughout the episode. And like just kind of filling me in. Like every now and then I'll get an email just letting me know what's going on.
Pot full of iguana meat.
With some crazy birds, I'm like, okay. And I'll tell somebody next to me and they don't give a fuck, bro.
Right, yeah.
They do not care.
But, you shouldn't feel embarrassed or anything. Like, I guess
I feel ashamed a little bit as a human. There's a little bit of that starts up.
Yeah, well, that's good. I think we should all have a little bit of that, because we, at the expense, or what we demand for our like standard of living, creates a lot of destruction. So we should be ashamed of it. We should be aware. We should do some work to become aware of our effects on the world, because just to be a good neighbor to other things,
Yeah.
That would be nice. But I know it sounds preachy, and I know that most people are just getting up and having to work and don't have the time to think about that stuff. But
it sounds hopeful though also, I think, in a little bit. I don't think it sounds preachy. I don't think you sound preachy at all. I think it sounds like studied and hopeful,
I'm not hopeful.
Right.
At all.
Maybe I want you to be.
Yeah, I wish, man.
Yeah. Damn, bro.
Just when you fly into LAX, man, like you look down at that.
I'm not asking you to have hope around here. Okay. But no, it's like, especially here, like, everybody people here look down. They have no empathy for like people in other parts of like, especially America, smaller towns where people are like, what do they do? All they're doing is like trying to have a good life, be loving more to their neighbor.
Yeah.
And not get overwhelmed with things that don't kind of make their spirit feel good.
Yeah.
They're more into, you have more people that can hunt, more people that can grow. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, that kind of stuff makes me furious.
Yeah. It's hard when there's some parts of rural living that aren't good, like there's the massive opioid addiction issues, but I think that stems from them being dismissed by everybody else, and industries like coal coming in and taking all the money away and leaving people sick and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising at all.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all when people feel like left out.
Yeah. And it's happening in the village in Costa Rica too, where everybody's being raised to think if you get out of this village, you're a success. If you get a college degree, it doesn't matter what you end up doing, or if you never see your family again, that's a success. And we kind of did that in this country too.
Yeah.
And people are separated from their families, and it's happening down there. And it's kind of like
I think some of that could change, though.
Yeah.
I think some of that could really start to change.
I hope so.
I believe that, because I think people are starting to realize that there's such a with not certain parts of America, like LA used to control like what would happen in Hollywood and in the media and that sort of thing, and it's going away now. So I think a lot of people who are dreamers or who want to be creators, I think a lot of these people are hopefully going to start to want to build up the places that they're from or the places that they live, because there's such a bottleneck here.
Yeah.
There's such a bottleneck in certain places that a lot of the best creativity never gets to be seen.
Yeah.
Even though if it were spread out a little bit more, it would really flourish. You know?
Did you have any people believing really wild things where you grew up, like rural superstitions or anything? Yeah. We have a woman we're friends with down in the village who...
Where, down in Costa Rica?
Yeah. So 40 years ago when she was pregnant, they had an outhouse out in the backyard, and she had to go to the bathroom at night. And she didn't feel she didn't feel like walking all the way to the outhouse, so she just went behind the house.
Oh, yeah, men. Yeah, that's men. Yeah.
When she looked down after she peed, there was a fer-de-lance pit viper coiled up right there. And she said, it didn't bite me. And she always prefaces this kind of stuff with, I know you're not going to believe me, but It didn't bite me because the urine of pregnant women is electrified.
Wow.
So she thinks the snake was sitting there like just
scared.
No, electrocuted.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. If something pissed on me that was pregnant, dude, I'd take the afternoon off. Easily, man.
Yeah, I'd probably enjoy the warm rain sensation.
I mean, I'll just take the afternoon off, man. I mean, that's really as dark arts as you can get.
Yeah.
Dude, you have to come back and let us know what's going on out there, any warning signs, of like any real huge flare-ups. But I certainly appreciate you coming, Seth, and just talking to us about, what it's like up by the North Pole, up by Alaska, and like, and they never built a Santa or anything like that up there, right?
Yeah, actually, south of Fairbanks, there's a town called North Pole, where they have a giant Santa statue and a sad little reindeer in a pen, and you can go sit on Santa's lap and stuff. It's a little dark artish.
Yeah, and it seems like they're trying to make a statement with the reindeer in the pen, are they, or no? Or is it just, it's a real reindeer?
It's real, but it's not a real good one. It's looking pretty sad.
Wow, look, dude. There's like 30 reindeer left.
Yeah.
Man, so,
but that's, when you see animals in the zoo and they're walking in circles and stuff, I kind of draw a parallel between that and human society. Like, they have food, they have shelter, so in a sense you think they're fine.
Right.
But why are they walking in circles? Like, same with us. Like, we're safe generally, we've got food, don't have to worry about all that much. Why are people so unhappy?
Yeah.
Because there's something that tiger who walks around the cage all day long is missing.
Yeah.
Same for us.
I like that. It's a good thought, man.
We got to break out of the zoo.
Yeah. But we also have to, we have to break out of the zoo. We just have to do it. We got to take enough food with us so we don't have to fucking choke a stork out, But yeah, I agree with you, man. Thanks for coming, man, and hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it, man. It's great to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jonathan Kite, and welcome to Kite Club, a podcast where I'll be sharing thoughts on things like current events, stand-up stories, and 7 ways to pleasure your partner. The answer may shock you. Sometimes I'll interview my friends. Sometimes I won't. And as always, I'll be joined by the voices in my head.
You have 3 new voice messages.
A lot of people are talking about Kite Club. I've been talking about Kite Club for so long, longer than anybody else. So great. Hi, sweetheart. Here's a deal. Anyone who doesn't listen to Kite Club is a dodgy bloody wanker. Do you know what I mean?
Hi, I'll take a quarter pounder with cheese and a McFlurry.
Sorry, sir, but our ice cream machine is broken.
No!
I think Tom Hanks just butt-dialed me. Anyway, first rule of Kite Club is tell everyone about Kite Club. Second rule of Kite Club is tell everyone about Kite Club. Third rule, like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or watch us on YouTube, yeah? And yes, don't worry, my Brad Pitt impression will get better.